morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Today, we are going to be bringing you a matchup between the former champion of the Pacific League from 2023, the Orix Buffaloes, and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Two teams in different directions. The Orix Buffaloes have been eliminated from the playoffs. The Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles are right now in fourth place. They have 3 games in hand on the Chibalote Marines. They find themselves a game back in the standings, as this is one of the games tonight that will be a makeup affair, as they are trying to catch the Marines right now to gain themselves a spot in the playoffs. As far as the Buffaloes are concerned, they've been eliminated about a week or so ago, officially eliminated from the playoffs. They are 8 games back of the Buffaloes, and they've only got 5 games remaining, or of the Eagles, they've got 5 games remaining, and they have zero hope of getting to the playoffs this year. Well, first of all, we're going to give you the starting lineups for the visitors from Osaka, the Orix Buffaloes. Leading off and in right field tonight is Tokumasa Chano. Heading second at third base is number 5, Masahiro Nishino. Heading third at second base is number 31, Ryo Oda. And the cleanup spot is number 4, Tomoya Mori. Batting fifth and playing shortstop is number 24, Kataro Kobayashi. In the sixth spot and in left field is number 7, Ryoma Nishikawa. Hitting seventh at first base is number 40, Leandro Cedeno. Batting eighth in center field is number 0, Haruto Watanabe. And batting ninth and doing the catching is number 2, Kenya Wakatsuki. And they are going to be facing, for the Golden Eagles, it's going to be Masahiro Tanaka, who is making his 2024 debut. He had off-season elbow surgery, and he's missed the entire season up to this point. But Tanaka, who is long considered the ace of the Eagles staff, making his first appearance of 2024 in line, helping them for a push to the playoffs. Well, that is your starting lineup for the Buffaloes. Now your starting lineup for the hometown Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Leading off in right field is number 51, Yuya Ogo. Batting second and playing second base tonight is number 0, Hiroto Kobakata. Hitting third in center field is number 8, Ryosuke Tatsumi. In the cleanup spot and wearing number 3 is Hideto Asamura. Batting fifth and doing the catching is number 55, Yuma Yosuda. Batting sixth at third base is number 7, Daichi Suzuki. Batting seventh in left field is number 39, Yukiya Ito. Hitting eighth at first base, number 48, Yoshiaki Watanabe. And batting ninth at shortstop, number 66, Itsuki Maribayashi. And they're going to be facing Taito Takashima, who takes to the mound with a 1-2 record for the Buffaloes. He's worked 51 innings. He's allowed 45 hits, 26 runs, 24 been earned. He's walked 20 and struck out 28, and he's got an earned run average of 4.24. Well, those are your starting lineups. We appreciate everybody, whether they listen live or on delay. We'll be back here in just a couple of moments. Our friend Gene Ju in the house. We're doing good, and hopefully you could stick around for the action tonight and for the upcoming playoff surge as well. We'll be back in about 60 seconds with all the action here. We're about 3 minutes away from first pitch. Appreciate you guys for hanging in tonight, whether you are live or on delay. It is going to be the Eagles and the Buffaloes. First pitch is just over a couple of moments away, or a couple of minutes away. We'll be back right after this with all the action. Glad you guys could make it in tonight. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be our friend Gene Ju in the house tonight asking, should he take the Eagles at -1.5? You know, that's a wild card here tonight. My concern is the starting pitcher, Masahiro Tanaka, as he is making his first start here tonight. And I didn't really see how he did in his latest rehab starts down with the farm team. And it is a bit of a question when you have missed the entire year. He could either come in and be really electric, or he could come in and not be a spot on tonight. And so that is the wild card in this one. That being said, when I look at the Buffalo lineup tonight, it's a bit sketchy. Obviously, the top of the order, Chano is getting the start in the leadoff spot. He played quite a bit for the Buffaloes at the beginning of the 2023 season. And he got hurt, and then he got sort of whisked away, and we didn't see a whole lot of him the back half of the season. We haven't seen a whole lot of him this year either. He has been getting some playing time recently, so I'm not sure what to expect. Of course, they are playing out the stringer of the Buffaloes, so they really don't have a lot to play for other than some jobs. And so the regulars that are in the lineup tonight are Oda, Mori, Kirby-Ashi, Nishikawa, Cedeno. They have Watanabe in center field, who, again, is auditioning, one would have to think, getting some playing time. So, and Nishino has been getting more playing time at third base lately. So I would say probably 2/3 of the Buffalo lineup is a lineup I would consider regular. So again, getting a look-see at different players in different spots. No Mune tonight, no Tongu tonight, and no Nakagawa tonight, who would have been regulars not just this year, but in the last couple of years. So I think they're going to be testing out some of the other bodies. So that's a bit of an unknown wild card. The Eagles have been battle tested. This is pretty much the same lineup they've been rolling out over the last couple of weeks, and they have really been playing fairly well, have the Eagles, to get themselves. They were tied for a little bit with the Marines, but now they find themselves one game back. And with this ball game here tonight, the Eagles have an opportunity to gain a half game because the Marines are getting the night off. So this particular game here tonight, I'd be biting my nails a little bit in terms of things. So certainly whenever you do, I would probably want to cover what you're doing, no matter what it is. But I don't want to give you any much more than that. But that's basically my thoughts. I would say this: other games tonight. Chiba is also in action tonight. They are sending Yuji Nishino to the mound. I thought they were off tonight, but they are sending Nishino to the mound. They'll be facing Taiga Ueda of the Lions. That game is at the Balloon Dome. That'll get going at the same time as this one. And the other one at Escon Field in Hokkaido in a mean-nothing game, really. It's the 1-2 matchup. It'll be the Hawks and the Fighters, as it'll be Higashiyama against Kitayama. Well, Masahiro Tanaka has almost completed his warm-up tosses. He's got one more to go, and we're about ready to get this one underway. On the other side of the ledger tonight, it is the Giants and the Carp, as the Carp are still trying to catch back up. They're 5-18 in the month of September. They've been absolutely abysmal trying to catch the Bay Stars, and the Tigers and the Swallows will go at it from the Jingu Stadium tonight. Well, here comes the first pitch of the ball game as Tanaka delivers. It's a first pitch fastball, take it for a called strike, and we are underway in Tohoku. Chano batting .257 on the season, no homers and a couple RBIs, hitting from the left side as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-1. Our friend Luke in the house tonight. Welcome, Luke. Appreciate you for being here. As the right-hander Tanaka rocks himself into the windup and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted into left center field. Moving over to his left and underneath it to make the catch is the left fielder Ito. And one up and one away here for the Buffaloes in the top of the first inning. I was saying when I was in Japan at the end of August, it was a first place position for the Carp in the other league, in the Central League. And they had been absolutely abysmal. That had to be one of the worst performances in the month of September that we have seen. Now, on the other side of the ledger, the Buffaloes here my prediction would have been, it would have been the Buffaloes, Marines, and the Hawks to make the playoffs, as there's a first pitch fastball that misses outside for a ball. And so our friend Gene says he's been casually following the Buffaloes for the past few years because of us. There's a fastball swung on, and it is lifted down the left field line, but it's going to slice into the seats, and the count goes even at 1-1. The big problem with the Buffaloes really this year, and I said it at the outset. There were three things. Number one is how could they recover from the loss of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and obviously that was a huge impact, taking a pile of wins, being the win leader out of your lineup. The second thing is that they, when they lost the services of their designated hitter a couple of years ago, as there was a fastball swung on and fouled away, Masataka Yoshida bolted for the major leagues. The slack was picked up last year by Yuma Tongu. He really produced the numbers that Yoshida was giving them, but he has fallen off the face of the earth this year, so that's unfortunate. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as Tanaka rocks into the windup. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that just backs Nishino off the plate, and the count's even at 2-2. So when I think of some of these things over the last little bit, and then the third thing is the manager Nakajima, just the way that his lineup is every night, he's got different guys in there, and there's a fastball that misses inside. It's 3-2 to Nishino. As a professional player, you want to try to play every day. It affects your timing when you're playing every other day or once every 3 days. And I know they've got a lot of talent over there with the Buffaloes, but unfortunately, as there's a fastball lined into right center field, it's going to get down for a base hit. And Nishino is going to be aboard with a single. And that is going to bring up the the second baseman, Ryo Oda. But as I said, it's the problem that I got, or the beef I've got with this, is that they've just been using so many different lineups throughout the year, and it didn't look like anybody could ever get on track. So that is going to bring Ryo Oda to the plate. Oda batting .285 on the season, 5 homers and 39 runs batted in. As he bats from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Tanaka, who comes to the set. And there's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. We were talking about when I was in Japan last year, I was at the Giants game, and I was talking about how the difference between the Pacific League, they've got a lot of their stuff centralized. The Central League, everything is independent. And I said, if the Giants had an opportunity or service, they could probably globally get a lot more fans watching. There was a fastball taken for a called strike. It's now 0-2 to Oda. I think most people would be willing to pay, even if it was the equivalent of $10 a month, rather than having to search for a pirated type of feed somewhere. A very big hassle that the Central League hasn't been able to figure out yet. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball that is swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Oda. He's in the books for the second out of the inning. First strikeout of the season for Masahiro Tanaka. And that is going to bring up the designated hitter, Tomoya Mori. Then the other thing is that you also look at a situation where, for people who are jumping in here, if you have a VPN, that also could potentially be able to help you get to things like Amazon Japan or Prime. Amazon Prime Japan has been carrying games. Yahoo has been carrying games, but you have to have a VPN to be able to do that. Luke says another one, Dingo TV, as the pitch is ready to go here, as the right-hander holds set, now delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is quickly 1-0 to Tomoya Mori. Mori on the season hitting .280. He's got 9 homers and 46 runs driven in. Right-hander against the left-hander, Masahiro Tanaka, the veteran on the hill here for the Eagles tonight, as he is ready to deliver. And here's the pitch. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Mori. Long history between these two here, as both Mori and the right-hander of Tanaka have faced one another for a long time. One of the other beefs that I have is getting a good English box score. There was something called hosted stats that we used to give out. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. It's now 2-1 to Mori. But that site looks like it is no more. It used to produce some good stats for Major League Baseball, for the NPB, for all kinds of different sports. If you're can read Japanese, they have one called Sports Navi. When you're in Japan, that is widely popular, but you're going to have to get that translated. But it's a pretty good app and a pretty good box score. There's a split finger pitch missing down. Now 3-1 to Mori. Keep your eye on Nishino in this situation with the 3-1 count. Sometimes teams do like to run here. So the right-hander, again, Tanaka leans in, gets the sign from his catcher as he works to the set position. And here comes the 3-1. As Tanaka delivers, it is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 3-2. So now for sure the runner will be off to the races as Nishino will be going once the pitch is delivered to the plate. As Mori is waggling the bat here, waiting for the pitch from Tanaka. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We're here in the top of the first inning. 0-0 Buffaloes and Eagles. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that just misses a bit outside. Oh, Tanaka wanted that pitch. He didn't get it. That's going to be ball 4, and Mori is going to get himself a 2-out walk. It advances Nishino over to second base, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Kitaro Kobayashi. Well, defensively tonight for the Golden Eagles, from left to right field, it is Ito in left. The center fielder is Tatsumi, and in right field it is Ogo. Around the horn from first to third, you've got Watanabe at first. The second baseman is Kobakata. At short, it is Muribayashi with the third baseman Suzuki, with Tanaka and Yasuda as the battery. So here steps in Kitaro Kobayashi as he's hitting .251 on the season, a couple homers and 36 RBIs. And the pitch is a fastball swung on and is lifted foul down the right field line, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Kobayashi. Our friend Gene says he's Korean, but he doesn't follow the KBO. I'm going to try to get to some KBO games next summer. The plan is to do about maybe 10 days in Korea, and then get to Fukuoka for the back end, because I've never been to Fukuoka before. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into right center field. Moving over and making the catch is Tatsumi, and that is going to retire Kobayashi for the 3rd out. So he's gone for out number 3, and there was no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We're through a half inning. It is going to be the Orix Buffaloes 0 and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. Bottom of the first, right around the corner. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here with us tonight on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Ogo, Kobakata, and Tatsumi to come to bat here in the bottom half of inning number 1. They're going to be facing the right-hander, which is Takashima, who has just completed his warm-up tosses. Our first look at Takashima this year. He has worked himself 51 innings so far. He is going to be facing Ogo, Kobakata, and Tatsumi to get things going here. Bottom half of inning number 1. Ogo's enjoyed himself a really nice season this year so far for the Eagles. He's hitting .258, 7 homers, 47 RBIs, but it's the 30 stolen bases that has been impressive. So Ogo steps in as the right-hander works himself to the set position as he pitches with nobody on, and the first pitch is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Our friend, they say it's between the Eagles and the Marines for this last spot. And I got a chance to see the Marines play, and they got shellacked by the Saitama Cebu Lions last month. And they really played a uninspired game against Saitama, as the pitch is a fastball that just misses up and away, and the count goes to 1-1 on Ogo. But I have to say, of all the stadiums I've been to in Japan, I actually rather enjoyed the Chiba Stadium. It's an interesting place to get to, and of course, not the easiest to get to, but it was a bit of a walk, and I definitely enjoyed going. There's a fastball that misses up, and it's now 2-1 to Ogo. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Ogo to be followed by Kobakata and Tatsumi here to get things going. So Luke asked the question, do you have Marines or Eagles? As there's a fastball swung on, it is grounded over to the right side, fielded neatly by the first baseman Cedeno, who flips it to the pitcher covering. It's a ground out 3-1 for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the second baseman Hiroto Kobakata. I would have to say, if I was throwing a coin down on it, I have a feeling the Eagles are going to do something like last year, where they're just going to not quite get there. And I think the Marines, with the addition of Dallas Keuchel, with the way that both Polanco and Soto have fit in the middle of the order, they've just been a little bit better throughout this year. I still would probably hedge my bets. But what's going to be interesting is there's a series coming up next weekend between the Marines and the Eagles that will be all over. And, of course, that would probably be more than likely the deciding factor as to who is going to be moving to the playoffs and who's going to be getting an early holiday. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Kobakata. The other half of the dual-headed monster on the base pass is Kobakata. He is batting .233. It's the 3 homers, 22 RBIs, but 28 stolen bases. That gives them the 1-2 punch, and even Tatsumi with 19 make them very dangerous at the top of the order as that pitch misses outside. It's 1-1 here to Kobakata. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. That was a lot of backdoor run on that pitch from Takashima. Looked like it was coming inside, and it ended up running across the plate. So 1 ball and 2 strikes here to the diminutive second baseman of the Eagles. And so, as we say, next weekend we'll be all over that series. There's a fastball swung on, grounded softly to short, fielded neatly by the shortstop Kirby-Ashi, who throws to first, and Kobakata's in the books on a ground out 6-3. So 2 gone, and that's going to leave it up to the center fielder, Ryosuke Tatsumi. And as we're taking a look at the schedule, or the future schedule, certainly between the Marines and the Golden Eagles, which will make it all the more exciting toward the end, especially early October baseball. The playoffs don't start until the middle of the month, as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Tatsumi. Tatsumi batting .293, 7 homers and 56 runs batted in. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that misses up, and the count now goes to 1-1. The schedule for those games next week, it'll be the Lions and the Eagles will play Friday, but it's going to be, where is our other part of that schedule? Actually, it's I want to correct myself a little bit here. It is Tuesday that the Marines and the Golden Eagles go head-to-head at each other. As that last pitch is taken for a called strike, it's 1-2 to Tatsumi. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. So the games between the Marines and the Eagles will go Monday, Japan time, and Tuesday. So if you're up late night, we'll try to bring you both of those. We'll try to get on that one for the Monday. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do Monday because I've got a commitment out of town, but we'll be on the Tuesday one. Breaking ball misses down, and the count goes to 2-2. Tomorrow night, we'll carry the same 2 teams here on the channel, as it is an early start, 9 o'clock if you are on the Pacific Coast, East Coast, it'll be midnight. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that just misses down, and the count now goes to 3-2 on Tatsumi. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander Takashima holds himself to the set, though there's nobody on, pitching from the stretch. Fastball swung on, lifted into deep left center field. Giving chase is Watanabe. This is going to be trouble. It's going to get down. Rounding first and digging for second is Tatsumi, and he's going to cruise in with a stand-up double. So a 2-out double here for the Golden Eagles. Has got a runner at second with 2 gone. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Hideo Asamura. Defensively tonight for the Buffaloes, from left to right field, Nishikawa is in left. The center fielder's Watanabe, and in right field, it's Chano. Around the horn from first to third, Cedeno at first, the second baseman Oda, the shortstop Kirby with the third baseman Nishino. The battery is of Takashima and Wakatsuki. So the runner gets his lead over at second base as Tatsumi establishes it. As the right-hander holds to the set, now delivers, and the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses up and in, and the count is 1-0 to Asamura. Pick your poison here. Asamura batting, and then on deck is the hot Yuma Yasuda. So they do have the open base here for Asamura, but you got to be dangerous, or it's going to be dangerous with the catcher who's been on fire on deck. Fastball swung on. This ball is going to get looped into center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Watanabe's charging. He comes up throwing. Here's the play at the plate. The throw is not in time, as that is going to be a RBI here for Asamura. I think they want to have a look at it. The manager, Nakajima, is going in to look at the VAR. So we're going to see if they were able to get the tag. Right now, we're going to hold it off before we start coloring it in. So the umpires are going to go have a look. Wakatsuki convinced that he got the tag on the runner Tatsumi. But the question will be is, did he get it in time? The center fielder Watanabe did a pretty good job. He attacked the ball, came in all in one motion, and fired it to the dish. As they were able to try to get the runner at the plate. We're going to get a look at the replay ourselves here. Oh boy. If he did get the tag on him, I think he's going to be out. So the home plate umpires came up with the safe side. The angle we saw looks like the ball may have been in time. The only question and the only thing in doubt is if Wakatsuki was able to get the tag in place. We're waiting here. That's the only angle that we've seen so far. We get a different angle here from the outfield side. Oh boy, I think this is going to get overturned. Nice tag there by Wakatsuki. I don't think this is going to be very long. We're going to wait to see what the officials will have to say, but I'm going to go up with the right hand. I've only missed 2 calls this year. We'll see if we are going to be correct here. On the backside, I don't think he got his hand down in time. So I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do this. Let's see what the home plate umpire Nakajima, the manager Nakajima, he's the man of a million faces. So he is waiting for the call to be made as well, but we are waiting from the umpires to give us their decision, and it's taking a little longer than I anticipated. Just looking around the league tonight, as we wait for the umpires to return, in the Central League, the 2 games that are going off, the Giants are playing the Carp. It'll be Tomoyuki Sagano taking his 14-3 record to the mound. He'll go head-to-head against Masato Morishita, who is 10-9. The Tigers and the Swallows are going off at the Jingu tonight. It'll be Jeremy Beasley going for the Tigers. He's 8-2. It'll be Taichi Yamano who takes to the hill for the Swallows. He is 2-4. Other game that's going on right now, the Marines sent Yuji Nishino to the mound, who's 8-8, as the Lions have sent Taiga Ueda to the mound, who hasn't got a record this year. The game that starts at the top of the hour, it'll be the Hawks sending now Higashiyama to the hill against Koki Kiriyama. Here come the umpires, and they've ruled them safe, so I'm going to lose a challenge as well. That's going to be an RBI single for Hidetto Asamura. It is going to give the Eagles here a early 1-0 lead. So an RBI single off the bat of Asamura has plated Tatsumi after the review. That is going to bring up the catcher, Yuma Yasuda. Well, they must have had a different angle than we did. Our friend Ramones J is in the house. He says, let's go Eagles. We appreciate the super chat from you here tonight. Thank you for your support. Glad you could make it back in as we have a lively group here tonight. So Yasuda striding to the plate. He's batting .307 on the season, 2 homers and 9 runs driven in. Batting from the left side against the right-handed throwing Takashima. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. He screwed himself into the ground, and the count is 0-1. Gene Ju says he's not complaining yet. Well, the Buffaloes here lose themselves a challenge in the first inning. Manager Nakajima is going to have to be wise to keep them the rest of the way. There's a fastball swung on. This ball's lined into right field. It's down for a base hit. And stopping at second base is going to be Asamura on the single by Yasuda. So after the first 2 outs of the inning, it has been 3 consecutive hits for the Golden Eagles, as they've got themselves runners at first and second with 2 gone, and Daichi Suzuki coming to the plate. That last pitch was a changeup from the right-hander Takashima. He left it up in the zone. That's something that we've noted about Yuma Yasuda. He's very aggressive early in the counts. So Yasuda at first, Asamura at second. Suzuki coming to bat here with his .264 average, 4 homers and 40 runs driven in. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on. This line is lined into right field, but moving over to his right and making the catch is Chano, and that is going to do it here. But the Eagles open up the scoring in the first inning. An RBI single by Hidetto Asamura. The Eagles out in front, 1-0. 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 3 hits. There was no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. Masahiro Tanaka has an early lead to work with here for the Golden Eagles. It is 1-0 Eagles over the Buffaloes as we cruise to the second inning. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few after this. Welcome back, everybody. Masahiro Tanaka completing his warm-up tosses. He delivered 20 pitches in his first inning of work of the 2024 season. As we mentioned, he had elbow surgery in the off season, as they had to do. It looked like they didn't. It's always interesting when you have to look at the translations from Japanese to English. They said it was a cleaning of the elbow. Well, probably by the sound of that, might have had some bone chips or cartilage, something floating around that would have been loose in there. If it was a cleaning, that probably wasn't a internal brace or Tommy John type surgery. Maybe some spurring that was taking place. He's going to be facing the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. It'll be Ryoma Nishikawa, Leandro Cedeno, and Haruto Watanabe. And the first pitch is a slow breaking ball that drops over for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Nishikawa. Nishikawa hitting .251, 7 homers, and 45 runs driven in as the right-hander delivers. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. Now Tanaka is ahead at 0-2. One thing I look at when I see Tanaka, he's a little bit older, but it looks like he has also had a couple of extra meals maybe in the off season, indulging and enjoying himself. as the right-hander rocks into the delivery, and he throws a fastball that misses up and in, and the count goes to 1-2. Just a little fuller in the face is, I guess, maybe the way I would put it. As the right-hander rocks again into the delivery, here comes the 1-2. Pitch on the way, slow breaking ball swung on and fouled away. Good job there by Nishikawa to battle it off. A long-time New York Yankee, I have to say, when a lot of the Japanese players come across, there's different players that have set standards, and some have been really good, and some have been average, and some have been all points in between. But Masahiro Tanaka was a big game pitcher for the Yankees. You have to give him a lot of respect. The guy you didn't want to face in the playoffs, as that fastball was swung on and fouled away. Count is going to remain at 1-2 to Nishikawa. Pitched on the biggest stage in the biggest market and had himself some big games. He was somebody who you could rely on, give the ball to, and he was going to be able to deliver for you. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander rocks and delivers. There's a fastball that just misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander Tanaka facing the left-handed hitting Nishikawa. As again, he rocks into the windup and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on, grounded over to short, fielded by Murray Biashi, who flips it over to first. And that is going to retire Nishikawa on a ground out 6-3. So he's in the books for the first out of the inning. I'm also kind of interested to see exactly how far they're going to stay with the right-hander here tonight. I'd be shocked if they took him to 120 pitches, but I could very easily see him giving them a good solid 80 plus. And then who knows after that? As we said, I hadn't checked in on his last couple of rehab assignments down with the knee gun. So that's going to bring up Leandro Cedeno to the plate. And the first pitch to Cedeno is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. I personally think Cedeno has got to be in line for some type of extension or longer. I'm not sure of his contract status at the moment. I'd like to take a peek at that to see where he sits. As there's a breaking ball down and away, and the count is 1-1. Cedeno batting .249 on the year, 13 homers and 31 RBIs. His home run tally is up by 4 from last year. And I think if they gave him a regular start, he could probably be pushing the 20 mark. There's another breaking ball waved at and missed. Count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. It'll be Haruto Watanabe to follow here as the Buffaloes are batting in the top of the second inning. Tanaka getting his sign from his catcher Yasuda. He rocks into the windup and he delivers a fastball that misses upstairs. The count now is 2-2. I was watching a Instagram post about a week or two ago, and it was a post regarding Greg Maddux, and they were talking about how Maddux used to call his own game. And one of the things that was interesting is not only would he call his own game, but he would signal to his catcher, whether he touched his face or his leg or whatever, what he would be throwing. There's a breaking ball missing down, and the count is 3-2. I thought that was really, really interesting. And then, of course, they would relay the signs and confirm them. But nobody really ever knew that Maddux, that was his signals. He would touch his cap or lift his cap for one pitch. He would swipe his face with the glove for another. He would pull up his shirt for another one. There's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4, and Cedeno is going to get himself a base on balls. That's the second free pass issued tonight here by the right-hander Tanaka. That is going to bring up the center fielder Haruto Watanabe. My friend Gene, who was in here at the top of the hour, had asked us when I thought could be the scenario here for tonight. And I said, one of the things for Tanaka would be the command and control of his pitches. And as we said, 2 walks already here in an inning and a third of work. Sometimes we'll take pitchers a couple of games to get a feel for what they're doing, especially coming off of a surgery. So be curious to see what his feel for his pitches will be like here tonight. So here comes the first pitch to Watanabe, and it is a fastball that misses up and away. And the count is 1-0. Watanabe batting 145 on the season, no homers and a couple RBIs. Ramon J says, Maddux is where I am is from where I am. That must be Vegas. I think that's where he's been calling his home these days. Here's the 1-0. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Maddox was the pitching coach for UNLV for a few seasons. Sam asked the question, how did he do in his rehab starts? His first rehab start, he went a couple innings or whatever it was, or he worked a couple innings and it was okay. But then, as I mentioned before, I didn't get a chance to go back and take a peek, as there is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 2-1. Curious to see what LC did with the knee gun. That's definitely something to keep in mind, too. As I said, the ability to get ahead in the count, ability to be able to throw strikes, not to walk batters. Sometimes that might take him a couple of starts to do it, but we'll have to see how this progresses tonight. Fastball swung on, grounded over to first. Going to second was Suzuki as they gun out Cedeno. And then they come back to first, and they're not able to get the speedy Watanabe, so it's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to be 3-6 in the books to replace or to get Cedeno at second. And I'm not sure what they were doing in that situation there. I think that if I was Suzuki, I probably would have stepped on the base to get Watanabe and then trying to get Cedeno, because Cedeno actually stopped running from first to second. They probably would have had a chance to get him in a rundown. And so instead, they've traded the runners at first now with some speed. So keep an eye on Watanabe. He can run a little bit. He's got 3 stolen bases this year. So 2 gone here as Wakatsuki strides to the plate. Instead, they flip it over to first, and diving back in time is Watanabe. So our friend Sam asked the question. He says, how did Masahiro Tanaka perform? And so we'll take a quick peek at this. The Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles, where he had got his rehab. I won't have the individual starts for you, as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Kenya Wakatsuki. Masahiro Tanaka had 5 appearances with the knee gun. He had a 0-2 record, and he'd worked himself 23 innings, allowing 27 hits. As they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner, Wakatsuki. He had himself an ERA of 3.91 during that window of time. He had 19 strikeouts, did Tanaka. But again, that's also facing second-team play, so there's a fastball taken for a called strike. So if you wanted my honest assessment, probably average. So that looked like he averaged about 4 innings per outing. But if I remember correctly, I think he only went a couple innings in his first rehab, so they were trying to stretch him out a little bit. So basically, his 6th appearance of the year is game number 1 here in the NPB. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball down. There goes the runner. The throw is down to second. It's not in time. And that is going to be a stolen base here for Watanabe, his 4th of the campaign. And it runs the count to 1-2 on Kenya Wakatsuki. Ramon's Chase said, I meant birthplace San Angelo. I'm not sure where Maddox was actually born. So you may be right. I know that he resides in the Las Vegas area. And I understand if you want to find him, go play a round of golf. Your chances of running into Maddox is going to be on a golf course somewhere. I guess that's where he spends a lot of his time. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As the right-hander delivers, it is a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into right field. It's going to slice its way into the seats. It's going to keep the count at 1-2 on Wakatsuki. Maddox, of course, as we said, the pitching coach at UNLV, his son played there at UNLV as well. And the reports I had on his son is that he didn't throw particularly hard at all. But much like his father, he had excellent command and control of the strike zone. I can only imagine the dinner table conversations in the house you're living with a Hall of Fame father, and talking pitching and things that they could do is probably a whole other level of conversation with regards to throwing a ball. So here comes the 1-2 pitch, and the right-hander instead does the spaghetti move, and it chases the runner Watanabe back to second base. Sam says this Orix batting may not be much better than teams in the lower league. I was saying tonight that there's really kind of 6 regulars, maybe 5, I would say, in the Buffalo lineup that I would consider regular. And then the other 4, it's kind of mishmash. And this time of the year, you don't know what you're always going to get. Fastball swung on, grounded over to short, fielded neatly by Murray Biashi. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Wakatsuki on a ground out 6-3. And that will do it here. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors. There was 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 1.5. Your score is the Eagles 1 and the Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call of the bottom of the second inning when we return after this. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on your Friday night here in North America, or really early Saturday morning. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 2, and slated to come to bat for the Golden Eagles. It'll be Yukiya Ito, Yoshiaki Watanabe, and Itsuki Murray Biashi, as they will be facing the right-hander Takashima for the first time here this evening. Ito is striding to the plate, getting the nod in left field tonight, batting .295, a couple homers, and 10 runs batted in. As I mentioned, we've seen the Eagles a few times over the last couple of weeks, and they have been pretty much sticking to this lineup here. There has only really been the other catcher, Oda, and Ishihara, who have been in and out of the lineup. As there's a first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So the other 2 catchers, and then either Watanabe or Ito, that have been sliding in and out, depending on if they have used Asamura as a third baseman or DH, or if they've used Yasuda as the DH. There is a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Ito. So certainly a different looking Eagles team than we've seen in recent years. The mainstays that we have seen have been Kobakata, Tatsumi, Asamura, and Suzuki. And of course, last year, Murray Biashi started to take over at short. So those ones there, but everybody else is kind of forcing their way into the lineup here. As the pitch is a breaking ball swung on, it's broken the bat of Ito. It's grounded softly to short. Kobayashi fields it. He throws to first. That's going to go down as a ground out 6-3. So 1 in the books, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Yoshiaki Watanabe. And for Watanabe, he is striding to the plate, hitting .248 on the year, no homers, and 10 runs batted in. And as I say tonight, really the Eagles, a lot to play for. The Buffaloes just playing out the string. And sometimes that's not a good thing. If you've got the other team you're playing against, they got nothing to play for, so they could just be relaxed and loose as a goose, depending on how the Eagles are playing. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. So certainly if you're Tohoku, you want to get off to a good start in this one, and that will keep you relaxed. We'll get you caught up on the out-of-town scoreboard as well, as there is a split-finger pitch swung on and missed. And the count is 0-2. The game, of course, that we're keeping our eye on in the bottom of the second inning, Lions and the Marines locked at zeros. All eyes on the Marines. A win tonight by the Eagles and a loss by the Marines as that fastball misses up. We'll put these two teams back to even Steven again. Again, the Eagles have 3 games in hand. And we were talking a little bit earlier about the scheduling as well. As the fastball is delivered, it's grounded over to second. Backhanded, nice play by the second baseman, Oda. He jump throws to first base, does his best Derek Jeter impersonation, and they are going to get Watanabe on a ground out 4-3. Oh, what a play. A nice defensive play by Nishino, and by Oda. That is going to bring up the shortstop, Itsuki Moribayashi. And not only was it a good play by the second baseman, you also got to give your props to the first baseman, Cedeno, for picking it out of the dirt. As he was able to salvage that to make a good play for his second baseman. Here comes the pitch. Fastball misses upstairs to Moribayashi. Moribayashi batting .243 on the year. 6 homers, 49 runs batted in. But he has been a steady presence at the shortstop position. And he squares to bunt, and he takes a fastball over for a called strike as he pulled back. And the count now goes even at 1-1. Once again, I was talking about the scheduling and the way that everything wraps up. It is a bit of a weird ending to the Japanese season, as they have a lot of games that are make-up rainouts. There's a fastball swung on. It is lined over to short as Kobayashi drops to his knees to make the catch. We'll pick up our thoughts on the scheduling and what to look for when we come back, as the Eagles go in order here in inning number 2. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. But to the top of the third, your score is Eagles 1, Buffaloes no score. Stick around, everybody. The top of the third just around the corner after this. And appreciate you guys for hanging out here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the order to come to bat here for the Buffaloes in the top half of inning number 3. Chano, Nishino, and Oda to face the right-hander Tanaka, who has just completed his warm-up tosses. I was just starting to say in the last half inning about the scheduling. The season, as of right now, the last games will be played on Monday, October the 7th, as it will be the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles and the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. The schedule for the Golden Eagles, it is a bit of a crazy hopscotch when you get into the 1st of October. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. As the right-hander Tanaka rocks into the windup and delivers, it's a breaking ball that misses up, and the count is 1-0. October the 1st, which is the Tuesday, they host Chiba. And then they get an off day. And then it gets a little bit crazy. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Moving back is Ogo. He's on the warning track. He looks up. He reaches up, and he makes the catch as he slams into the wall. Oh, boy. Chano sent it for a ride, just not deep enough, as he is going to be retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Masahiro Nishino. I was starting to explain a little bit there. So they open up on October 1st. On Tuesday, do the Eagles. at home to Chiba. Then they get an off day on the Wednesday. And then on Thursday the 3rd, they have to go all the way to the southwest part of the country to play a single game against the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And then after that single game, then they've got to go to Tokyo to play the Chiba Lotte Marines. Or sorry, check that. They have to play the Saitama Cebu Lions. They come all the way back to the northeast. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to first. Fielded neatly by the first baseman, Watanabe, who flips it to the pitcher covering. That's a ground out 3-1 for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away. So the first they're at home. Then on the 3rd, they have to go to Fukuoka. Then they come back home on the 4th to play Saitama. And then they have to play the Fighters at home. Then the Buffaloes at home and the Fighters at home on consecutive days. So how strange is that? And here comes the first offering. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike to Oda, and the count is 0-1. Oda struck out his first time up, facing the right-hander here. Tanaka rocking himself into the windup, and he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hander again kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-1. I saw that they had some meetings for the NPB this past week, and they have announced that they are not going to be adding the pitch clock next year. One thing they were satisfied with is that they have a rule that it's 30 seconds between hitters. There's a breaking ball swung on, grounded to short. Biashi fields it. He throws to first. That's going to retire Oda. And the Buffaloes go quietly here in their half of the 3rd inning. That's 5 in a row now retired by the right-hander Tanaka. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We're now moving to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Your score is the Eagles 1 and the Buffaloes no score. Stick around. I'll come back and talk about what they're doing in the NPB when I return right after this. Maybe even talk a little expansion. Hang tight, everybody. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the top of the order coming up for the Eagles. That means Ogo, Kobakata, and Tatsumi get things going here in inning number 3. I started to talk about in the last half inning. They had the owners' meetings yesterday in Japan, and there's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. There's been speculation that they're going to expand. They're going to add another team to the Pacific League and to the Central League here in the next little bit. And if you followed us last week, they were talking about adding an additional 5 more games to the NPB schedule as early as next year. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven into deep right center field, and this ball is going to get down. It's going to get off the wall. Ogo is cruising around first, heading into second with a leadoff double, as he is aboard here to start the 3rd inning, and that will bring up the second baseman, Hiroto Kobakata. Well, for Kobakata, he's 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded to short his first time up, as he'll be facing the right-hander for the second time. I started to say that they're talking about the expansion, adding one more team to each league. And if they add one more team to each league, then the interleague play, as we know today, as they play 18 games a year, that will go away. And it'll be something like Major League Baseball, where there'll be an interleague game pretty much every night, or every series will have at least one interleague game going on throughout the course of the season. Here comes the first pitch as Takashima delivers. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. But the other part to this is that by adding the 5 extra games, and I don't know if they've actually decided that that's going to be the case for next year, but by doing that, that would pave the way for the 7th team of each league. The 5 extra games added to the schedule would take them to 148. And so my thoughts on that would be is they probably would end up going as there's a ball that's bunted foul over on the third base side. The count now is 1-1. The way I would speculate is that they would play every team home and away 3 times in an interleague type of schedule. So that means that it's going to be probably, and again, this is my speculation, 42 interleague games. But then what you're going to have is you're going to have 106, most likely 106 ball games that will be within your own division or your own league. There's a ball that's bunted, it's down. The only play is going to be to first base. They may have messed something up over there as the pitcher came off the mound. The third baseman, Nishino, had come in, and there was nobody at third. The pitcher had taken a look, but Ogo was able to get there safely. That's going to be a sacrifice. It's going to go 1-4 in the books. As Kobakata is retired for the first out, it's going to bring up the center fielder, Ryosuke Tatsumi, who had scored the first run for the Eagles here tonight. Well, Tatsumi comes to bat. He's 1-for-1. He doubled his first time up. He was brought home on an RBI single off the bat of Asamura. He pitches a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is quickly 1-0. Tatsumi entered the fray tonight hitting .293 with 7 homers and 56 RBIs. I was talking a little bit about that expansion, how they were talking about increasing to 7 teams. There was talk prior to the pandemic that there was going to be expansion, and the 2 locations in particular, it's that fastball misses outside. It's now 2-0. We're in Okinawa, and the other location potentially being in Kanazawa. But everything kind of was put on the back burner once the pandemic had taken place. Buffaloes have their infield in here as it's 2 balls and no strikes to Tatsumi. Looking to cut the run down at the plate. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow center field. Coming in on his Watanabe. He makes the catch, tagging at third, and slamming on the brakes is Ogo. As the ball did trickle away a little bit from Wakatsuki, so Tatsumi hits the ball to center field, but not deep enough to get the run home. That is going to bring Hideto Asamura to the plate with 2 gone here and a runner at third base. Asamura tonight has produced the first run for the only run of the ball game as he drove home Tatsumi with an RBI single in inning number 1. He's got a chance to double the lead here for the Eagles in the 3rd inning. He bats from the right side here against the right-hander. Try to finish my thoughts on the expansion and the extra games, but one of the things that they said is the 30-second rule between hitters has sped up the game by 5 minutes this year, at least through the first 9 innings. There's the fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. So 5 minutes quicker because you've got 30 seconds to get to the plate after the previous hitter has either been retired or has reached base. I'm not so sure about that. I think that it's probably a contributing factor, but not maybe the be-all and end-all. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. When you think of the baseball games, not just in North America, but in Japan, certainly the pitch clock has really improved the pace of play in North America big time. I would have never thought that would have been the case, but I got to see the Mariners and the Brewers last year down in Seattle, and it was like 2 hours and 36 minutes. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Watching some of those Yankee Red Sox games on TV, they're 4 or 5 hour marathons. Well, that's sped up as well. Sunday night, watching those two teams play, you're going to have a dinner and you're going to have a midnight snack by the time that game is done. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Asamura. Runner at third is Ogo. 2 gone here in the third. Here comes the pitch from the right-hander Takashima. It's a breaking ball that misses in the left-handed batter's box. Count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just as a reminder, we'll be back on the airwaves yet again tomorrow night. It'll be the same 2 ball clubs again. As it is getting into the crunch time here. Not a lot of games left in the NPB. Only another approximately a week and a half worth of games left to be played. As the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses up and away, and the count now goes full to Asamura. And then the other thing that we were looking at, the first game of the playoffs will begin on Saturday, October the 12th, both for the Central and the Pacific League. So hopefully you guys could be in there for those. They'll play they'll play Saturday, Sunday, Monday in Japan. So potentially 3 games, both the Central and the Pacific League. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Asamura is gone as the pitcher Takashima walked the ladder, blows it away upstairs. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that'll do it here in inning number 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through the first third of the ball game. Your score is the Eagles 1 and the Buffaloes no score. Top of the 4th, just around the corner. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here tonight with us on the Last Drops Baseball YouTube channel.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Drops Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the 4th inning. It is 1-0 for the Eagles over the Buffaloes. And coming to bat will be the heart of the order for the Buffaloes. That will be Mori, Kobayashi, and Nishikawa. As Tanaka has just completed his warm-up tosses, we'll be ready to begin inning number 4 here. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Buffaloes. 1 run, 4 hits, and no errors for the Eagles. 50 pitches through the first 3 innings for the Eagles right-hander Masahiro Tanaka. As we were just talking before, I wonder how long a leash he is going to have here tonight. One would have to think that they'll be on high alert after the 5th inning, should he be able to get through the next couple. And then I'll have to pass the torch to the Eagle bullpen. And the first pitch on the way to Tomoya Mori. It is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. Mori tonight does not have an official at bat. He walked his first time up in his only plate appearance. As the right-hander Tanaka kicks and fires, it is a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul into the seats down the third base line. Tanaka is ahead at 0-2. We were talking in the last half inning about a variety of different things, and our friend Ramon J says he can't decide if he likes the extra inning rule. The one thing that I do like in Japan with regards to the extra innings is there's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul over on the third base side. Count remains at 0-2. Is that they play until they get a winner, and obviously they only go 12 innings in the regular season and also in the early parts of the playoffs too. And I'm okay with that. I'd rather see it go as a tie than maybe necessarily to start with a ghost runner on the base. There's a breaking ball that misses up and away. Counts 1-2 to Maury. Or maybe after 12 innings, you go to the ghost runner or something along those lines. The other part is certainly in North America, as opposed to Japan, they don't cut the beer sales off after 7 innings in Japan. Fastball misses upstairs. So you're playing 12 innings. That's a whole extra, potentially 5 innings of beer sales, because I know in North America, a lot of the teams, they cut the beer sales off in the 7th inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on. This ball is lined into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Tomoya Mori is aboard with a leadoff single here to begin the 4th. And I'll bring up the shortstop, Kitaro Kobayashi. Ramon says he agrees. It just feels like it's unearned. Yeah, I agree with that. I've seen it at the minor league level. I don't think I've been to a big league game where there's been extra innings. It's not true. This year I saw Kansas City and Detroit. Ended up going 11 innings, and they start with that ghost runner on base, and it's just, I don't know. And I think that with the runner at second base, it also exposes the lack of skill in the North American game, as you very rarely see them bunting guys over. Bunt them over to third, you got a couple of cracks to bring them home, especially if you are tied and you're the home team. As Tanaka throws it over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Mori. So Mori, the runner at first, nobody out here in the top of inning number 4, as the right-hander Tanaka holds to the set, now delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses up, and the count goes to 1-0 on Kobayashi. Kobayashi flew to center his first time up. I have to say, with Kitaro Kobayashi, I have enjoyed watching him progress over the last few years. It seems like he's been around forever, but he actually really hasn't been. He's only 21 years old. Broke in as a 17-year-old into the NPB. Pretty amazing stuff. As the right-hander delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses upstairs. Count now goes to 2-0 on Kitaro Kobayashi. Tanaka ready to go again as he leans in, gets the sign from his catcher. As I say, Kobayashi, he will be, he's 22 now. He'll be 23 in February. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. Count now goes to 2-1. But you look at the way that he's slowly progressed along. His batting average is a bit down from last season, though, but as are his power numbers. So they did lose some production with him there, but overall he is still punching above his career average in the batting average department. As the 2-1 here on the way from Tanaka, he kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball, misses up and in, and it's now 3-1. So this is what I was concerned about here with the right-hander Tanaka, where he was going to be, how long they could get out of him here, as we are in the top of the 4th inning. Runner at first is Mori. The questions would be his stamina and his command of his pitches. So I would think if he can give you a solid 5, the Eagles might be flapping their way to the bullpen. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and it's now 3-2 to Kobayashi. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Set the stream up for tomorrow night after this one here tonight. As we said, we'll be back on the airwaves again with the same 2 ball clubs. And then after that, we will be picking away at the rest of the games that we'll do between now and the end of the season, but we will be on as many games as we possibly can through the playoffs. So here comes the 3-2 pitch as Tanaka holds set. Instead, he fires over to first, and diving back in time is the runner Mori. Our friend Ken is in the house tonight. That would be God is great. Appreciate you for popping in here. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kobayashi as the right-hander again. Tanaka holds set. And he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on it. Is grounded off the glove of the first baseman. They're going to have to hurry for a play at first. Oh, what a play that was. So it went off the glove of Watanabe. It trickled into the 4-hole. Kobakata came over to get it, and then he threw to first base. Were they able to get the runner or not? I'm not sure if they're going to get him or not on this particular one. It looks like Kobayashi may be safe at first where he's standing there. Maybe they're going to have a look at it here. That's exactly what it is. They're going to go and have a look at the replay. So the manager, Nakajima, twice going to the replay here. We're going to have to wait and see what the decision on this one is. That's a little bit an interesting one. If it goes in the books, it's going to be a 4-3-4 putout. Oh, this one's going to be a quick one. This is going to be an infield hit. Buffaloes here are going to survive that. I'm so confident I'm actually going to put it on my score sheet right away. So the ball was hit to the right of Watanabe, the first baseman of the Eagles. He dove for the ball. It went off his glove. It trickled into the 4-hole. Kobakata was able to get to it, still threw the ball to first to try to get the runner, Kobayashi, but it looks like he's been able to leg it out. That'll put runners at first and second with Ryoma Nishikawa striding to the plate. But again, we're just waiting for the umpires to come back to finalize that decision. So the Buffaloes have something brewing here in the 4th inning. And if it were me, this is what I'm going to project ahead of time. If it is first and second, which I assume it's going to be, I would see them bunting Nishikawa to put runners at second and third. They'll probably hold 4 fingers up to walk Cedeno, and they'll put it all into the hands of the center fielder, Watanabe. That's my thoughts on how this might play out. And here comes the umpires, and it is a safe call, so the Buffaloes will retain that challenge. So they have runners at first and second. Mori is the runner at second. Kobayashi, the runner at first. Nishikawa striding to the plate. And so Nishikawa is 0 for 1 in this one here tonight. He grounded to the shortstop his first time up. So all eyes here to see if they are going to be dropping a bunt. The catcher, Yasuda, has come out and flashed his defensive signs. So they're ready to get this one going here. So Nishikawa coming to the plate. Gets himself dug in. Buffalo's looking to get some points on the board here against the Eagles in the top of the 4th inning. Right-hander Tanaka holds to the set. And here comes the pitch. He does break his hands to square to the breaking ball for a called strike. Nishikawa started to square to bunt, and then he backed up backwards. So no balls and 1 strike here to the Buffaloes left fielder. Interesting situation here. I know sometimes what they like to do is they like to either pick over to a base or they do a spaghetti move to see if they can get a read of the hands of the hitter. So Nishikawa in the hole here at 0-1. Right-hander Tanaka holds set. Now he kicks and fires. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded through the 4-hole into right field. Rounding third and holding at third will be Mori as Ogo came up with the ball. That's going to load the bases here. So back-to-back singles have got something brewing here for the Buffaloes in the top of the 4th inning. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Leandro Cedeno, and it's going to bring the pitching coach on a full-on trot out to the mound. Have a word with the veteran right-hander, Masahiro Tanaka. Welcome those listeners who are here on Twitch, as we normally are on our YouTube channel. If you want that information, you have to become a member of our channel, and that'll give you all the information you need to do, as we're getting some questions on the Twitch side of the coin. So Leandro Cedeno coming to the plate with the bases loaded. He walked his first time up. Mori, the runner at third, Kobayashi at second, and Nishikawa, the runner at first. Buffalo's threatening here to put some runs on the board in the top of the 4th inning. So Cedeno stepping in. He's batting .249 on the season, 13 homers and 31 RBIs. He was raced in a fielder's choice after drawing a walk his first time up, as the right-hander Tanaka holds to the set position. And here comes the first offering. It is a fastball that catches the outside corner for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. That was of the split finger variety, so no balls and one strike to Cedeno. That's pretty gutsy. First pitch throwing a split finger. He was able to just catch that outside corner was Tanaka. As we mentioned, Tanaka, a big game pitcher, not just here, but also with his days with the New York Yankees. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. As Tanaka kicks and fires, it is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field. It's slicing toward the foul line, giving chase into the corner, and making the catch is the right fielder Ogo. Tagging up and coming in to score the first run of the ball game is Tomoya Mori for the Buffaloes. That's going to go down as a sacrifice fly to the right fielder. He picks himself up an RBI, does Cedeno. Mori is going to be scoring the first run of the game for the Buffaloes. Advancing over to third is Kobayashi. After you take a look to see if Nishikawa advanced as well, but we'll see that in just a moment. But a good job by the big fella to be able to go the other way and drive a run in. So 1-1 is the scoreline, and that'll bring up the center fielder Haruto Watanabe with runners on the corners. Watanabe tonight bounced into a fielder's choice. He also has a stolen base. Defensively for the Eagles, they've got the corners are in, the middles are in double play depth. As there's one gone here in the fourth. He squares the bunt, but nothing happens here. It would look like it was a safety squeeze, as the runner Kobayashi was not coming down the line from third base. He was taking his normal secondary lead. So 1 ball and no strikes. The infield is now in. They're as the runner Nishikawa has taken second base. I'm not sure if they're going to give him a stolen base or if it'll be defensive indifference. So second and third now for the Buffaloes. As the right-hander Tanaka kicks and fires. They squared a bunt again, and it's taken for a called strike. And the count is now 1-1 to Watanabe. I would not be surprised if they put the slash on here in this situation. So Watanabe waiting here on the offering from the right-hander Tanaka, who holds himself to the set position. And here comes the 1-1 offering. Pitch on the way. He squares the bunt again. He bunts it down the first baseline. It is fielded, but the only play is going to go to first. It's going to get another run in here for the Buffaloes. So in some ways, it was a bit of a safety squeeze, not a suicide squeeze. But that's going to be a sacrifice. It's going to go 3-4 in the books. Watanabe is going to be gone for the second out of the inning, but he picks himself up an RBI. Scoring is Kobayashi, and now the Buffaloes are enjoying a 2-1 lead here, as Nishikawa had advanced to third, and that'll bring up the catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. So our friend Gene Ju, who was in here earlier on, probably threw up in his mouth a little bit because he had the Eagles, or he was looking for the Eagles at 1.5. Unfortunately, Gene, that is not working out for you right now, as the Buffaloes have a 2-1 lead. So Wakatsuki striding to the plate. He is 0 for 1 tonight. And the first pitch is a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into right field. That ball is going to get down for a base hit. And that's going to be another RBI, as that's going to be a single here for Wakatsuki. And the score is Nishikawa. That's going to increase the score line to 3-1. And the Buffaloes are flexing their muscles here in the fourth inning. That'll bring up the top of the order in Tokumasa Chano. Our friend Tyler in the house tonight, he says he put 250 and he needs the Eagles to win. Well, good luck with that, Tyler, because this is not the start that I think that you and a lot of the Eagles fans would have wanted or expected on their home soil. Ramon J says, do you have a favorite stadium? as there's a breaking ball that misses up and away. And I've been to 8 of the 13 stadiums that they call regular because the Buffaloes play at the Kyocera Dome and at Hodomoto Field as home games. As the 1-0 pitch is ready to come here. As Tanaka kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. Probably Hiroshima, where the Carp play. That's probably the best stadium I've been to. That's awesome. I really do like the stadium in Chiba. I'm not a big fan of where the Giants play at the Egg. The Jingu Stadium, a lot of history, but it's probably in some ways it's not as modern as some of the others. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. 2-1 now to Chano. 73 pitches now for the right-hander here in the 4th inning. Tyler wants to know where you can watch this. Well, it depends on what country you're in, Tyler. You can pick it up wherever you're at. You'd have to indicate a little bit of that, and maybe we can lead you in the right direction. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. It's 2-2 now to Chano. Most people, once they find a link, they're able to sync up our English commentary and hopefully enjoy the game along with us. As the right-hander holds to the set, here comes the pitch from Tanaka, the 2-2 on the way. Fastball swung on and lifted foul over on the third base side. The runner, Wakatsuki, ironically was on the move. The catcher does not have a stolen base to his name this year. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chano. Right-hander Tanaka again leans in, gets the sign from Yasuda, and the 2-2 is ready to come here. Buffaloes are ahead 3-1 now. In the top of the 4th, pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball swung on, lifted into straightaway center field. Tatsumi's there, and he makes the catch, and that is going to do it. But there's been damage done, and lots of it here in the 4th inning. 3 runs in the inning on 4 hits. There was no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Your score is the Orix Buffaloes 3 and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after these. Welcome back to everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the 4th inning, and coming to bat for the Eagles will be Yumi Yasuda, Daichi Suzuki, and Yukiya Ito, as they're going to be facing the right-hander Taito Takashima for his 4th inning of work. The Eagles jumped out to an early 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 1st inning. An RBI single off the bat of Hideto Asamura gave the early lead to the Eagles, but a 3-run uprising in the 3rd inning have given the Buffaloes a 3-1 lead. Our Filipino friend in the house, he says he's excited to watch a game at the Cochin Stadium next year. That is going to be awesome. This year here was, I believe, the 100th anniversary of the Cochin. He'll be at 101 next year. There's a fastball that misses up and in. The count is 1-0. I was talking about, or the question that came in from Ramon says, do you have a favorite NPB stadium? I actually kind of, in some ways, Kind of like that stadium in Saitama, too. It's old, but it's just an engineering marvel where they put the dome on how many years after it was built. Fastball swung on and belted foul down the right field line, and the count is 1-1 to Yasuda. Yasuda continuing his hot hitting. He is 1-for-1 tonight, his single in his only trip. As we said, he has been on fire. He's getting the start behind the plate tonight for the Golden Eagles. Curious to see if Tanaka comes out for another inning. I mean, I was a little concerned about how he was throwing early on. There was a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 2-1. Maybe they tried to bleed a fifth inning out of him, but I would have to think the bullpen's going to be on high alert. So here comes the offering. It is a fastball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 3-1 on Yasuda. As we said, the other game that we're keeping an eye on of most interest is going on here also in the Pacific League. Top of the fifth inning, it's 0-0 between the Marines and the Lions. Only other game going on is the Hawks and the Fighters are down 0-0 in the second. That ball is grounded up the middle. A diving play by the second baseman. Oda diving to his right. He gets to his feet and he throws to first. And Yasuda's in the books. Oh boy, if this is how this game's going to go tonight for the Golden Eagles, they're going to feel snake bitten. Ground out 4-3 for out number one, and that is going to bring up the third baseman, Daichi Suzuki. Great play by the second baseman, Oda, and then getting to his feet and throwing out Yasuda. Yasuda hit that ball hard. Just a little bit more to the right. The ball probably is up the middle for a base hit. Well, that's going to bring up the third baseman, Daichi Suzuki, who's 0-for-1 tonight. He lined to right field his first time up. Takes a slow breaking ball up and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Right-hander holding set, now kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into straightaway center field. Drifting back is Watanabe. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to retire Suzuki for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away. And that is going to bring up the left fielder, Yukiya Ito. Well, it looks like that Takashima is starting to settle in a little bit here. He has retired 5 in a row. And to answer our question, and maybe everybody else's, Masahiro Tanaka is getting up. He's going to be throwing in front of the Eagle dugout, which indicates that he is going to be coming back in for a 5th inning of work. But I would have to believe that he's going to have to be done after 5. There's a first pitch breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. Yeah, sometimes you can see if the players have got it or if they don't got it. I would say tonight, what I've seen from Tanaka, he is definitely not in midseason form. So no balls and 1 strike here to Ito as he bats with 2 gone in the last of the 4th. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that misses inside, and the count now is 1-1. So back to that question of the favorite stadium, probably, obviously, or arguably, I would say where the Cart play number 1. And as I said, I really enjoyed Chiba. I like what they have to offer as well. It's a nice-looking stadium. But I've yet to go up to the Northeast. As there is a fastball swung on, it is lined over the head of the third baseman into left field. Rounding first and firing on the brakes is Ito as he's got himself a 2-out single. Nice job there by the left fielder, Nishikawa, to get over to have to stop it before it got to the wall as he was able to hold Ito to a very long single. That is going to bring up the first baseman, Yoshiaki Watanabe. Well, for Watanabe, he comes to the plate 0-for-1 tonight. He had grounded to the second baseman his first time up. So he establishes his lead over at first. Batting from the left side here is the left-handed hitting Watanabe, 0-for-1 tonight in this one, and he swings through a first pitch fastball, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Our friend Josh Yaskovich in the house tonight. He says these games have not been kind to his Eagles, and those are facts. Any thought on the Japan Series 24, what it's going to look like? I still think the Hawks are in the driver's seat in the Pacific. There's a fastball swung on it, is taken on one hop by the second baseman, Oda, who throws to first. That is going to retire Watanabe on a ground out 4-3 for out number 3, and that's going to do it here for the Eagles. No runs in the inning, 1 hit, no errors, and they do strand a runner. Score as we move to the top of the 5th, and I'll come back and let you know what I think, what's going to happen in the Central when we return after this. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us, as it is a scoreline of 3-1 for the Buffaloes as we move to the top of the 5th. We'll be right back in just a few. We are going to be moving to the top of the 5th inning, and we'll introduce you to our friend Steve Rademacher. Check out his channel after the game. He is a weird and crazy guy. We'll be right back after this.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name. And I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the 5th inning, and our friend Manny Mike in the house. Back up to the original question by our friend Josh. I think it was Josh had asked the question. He says, what are you thinking about for the 2024 series? So the SoftBank Hawks, I think, have been pretty much, wire to wire in the Pacific. The first pitch is a breaking ball that misses up here to Nishino. So Nishino, Oda, and Mori to come to bat. But the Giants, who are about to clinch first in the Central, I'm not locked in on them winning the Central League, as there's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count now goes to 2-0 on Nishino. And as a matter of fact, I think if the Bay Stars get in, I think the Bay Stars could take out the Tigers and possibly even get themselves into the championship. That would be quite something. As the breaking ball is taken for a called strike, the count is 2-1. The Bay Stars are been hanging around here a little bit. They've been making their noise and trying to get into the playoffs, as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Counts now 2-2. The Carp have been cursed 5-18 in the month of September, as the right-hander Tanaka rocks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on it, is chopped over the head of the pitcher, fielded by the shortstop Murray Biashi. He throws to first, and Nishino is in the books on a ground out 6-3. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the second baseman Ryo Oda. So our Filipino friend says he's hoping the Tigers would repeat. So I just don't know if that is the case. I'm not 100% sold on that either. The Tigers, I just think there's a few holes. I also saw that Sheldon Noisy has departed the ball club. That's a fastball that misses upstairs. Noisy last year was a big part of them winning the Central League and winning the title, but he just didn't have the season that he had last year, and he has been released. He's been given the so-called Rowdy Tellez of Japanese baseball. They've told him hit the road. That breaking ball misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Oda, which is unfortunate because Noisy was a productive player last year for the Tigers. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Count is 2-1. So they're going to have to pick up the slack there. He certainly provided a power option for the Tigers. Even in their win in the Japan series, he was quite good. There's a breaking ball that is waved at and missed, and the count goes to 2-2 on Oda. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-1, Buffaloes have the lead here in the top of the 5th inning. It was their 3 runs in the 4th And I've given him the lead here. And there's a fastball that is swung on. This ball is lifted into right field. This ball is going to slice, but is it going to stay fair? Is it going to be trouble? And this ball is going to be gone. A home run, a solo shot here off the bat of Rio Oda. And it just stayed to the left of the foul pole, snuck its way in. That is going to increase the Buffalo lead to 4-1. And Masahiro Tanaka looking shell-shocked on the mound. I'm not sure what the over-under in this game was before it started tonight. If I had to take an educated guess, I would have said 6.5. Well, that 6.5 could be in the books here by the 5th inning. Our friend Brendan in the house says, Orix all day. For a team that's really got nothing to play for, they could throw a wrench into the Eagles' plans for a playoff hope. Here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away by Tomoya Mori. The count is 0-1. Mori tonight, 1 for 1. He's also drawn a walk. He got the party started in the 4th inning with a single. He later came around and scored a run as Tanaka rocks himself into the windup. Here comes the pitch. Breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2. So the Eagles are going to have to flap their wings and get their bats going if they're going to want to get back into this one. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, as it is a split finger pitch that misses down. A good stop there by the catcher Yasuda. No damage really done with that one. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tomoya Mori. 1 gone here in the 5th. It's the solo shot by Oda that has increased the scoreline to 4-1. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses down. It's now 2-2 to Mori. And you got to be careful with Mori because he's got the ability to run into a ball and put another point on the board here for the Buffalo Ball Club. As the right-hander kicks and fires, there's a fastball swung on. It is grounded right back to the pitcher. Tanaka fields it. He throws to first. That's going to go in the books as a ground out, 1-3. That's going to leave it all up to the shortstop, Kotaro Kobayashi. Our friend Ramones J says, take Tanaka out, please. I'd be shocked if he saw another inning of work here. I would think 5 and a fly is in the docket for him tonight. Especially with his pitch count, it's starting to ratchet up even more. He's at 91 pitches as the first pitch fastball misses up and away, and the count is 1-0. And I know as you get a little bit older in your career, you don't have the blazing stuff that he used to have. He was never really a power arm, but kind of sees guiding his fastball a little bit here tonight. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lined right to the shortstop, Murray Biashi, who makes a leaping catch. So the shortstop, Kobayashi, hits it to Murray Biashi, and that'll do it here for the Buffaloes in their inning. But they get another run as they add their lead, a solo shot by Rio Oda. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. Moving to the bottom of the 5th inning, your score is the Buffaloes 4, the Eagles 1. Stick around, everybody. The bottom of the 5th is just around the corner when we get back after this. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the last half of the fifth inning, and slated to come to bat for the Eagles will be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the batting order. That means Moribayashi, Ogo, and Kobakata. Trying to get things going here for Tohoku in inning number 5. Just as a reminder, we like to call it the Japanese halftime, as after the fifth inning here, it is a extended break. We will get ourselves, refresh our drink, stretch our legs, and be able to come back to give you the rest of the ball game. As the first pitch delivered by the right-hander Takashima is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Moribayashi. Moribayashi is 0 for 1 tonight. He lined to the shortstop. His last time up, they've traded line drives to each other, have Kobayashi and Moribayashi, as there's a breaking ball that misses in the left-handed batter's box. The count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Moribayashi looking to set the table here as the Eagles are finding themselves down by a 3-run deficit right now in the last half of the fifth. Fastball swung on, grounded softly over to short. Kobayashi fields it. Nice play by the shortstop. Fires to first, and that is going to retire Moribayashi on a groundout, 6-3. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Yuya Ogo. Well, for Ogo, he is 1 for 2 tonight. He had a double back in the third inning. He's also grounded to first. He was stranded at third. And that right there was kind of the opportunity that was squandered by the Eagles. They had a chance to add to their lead with that double by Ogo. They'd moved him over to third base, and then 2 cracks to bring him home failed. And I think if they would have maybe punched a run across there, that would have given them a little bit more momentum. First pitch fastball misses up and away, and the count is 1-0 to Ogo. It's top of the order for the Eagles. When they get on base, they are quite dangerous. And as we said before, they like to run. 57 combined stolen bases from the top 3 hitters in the order. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted in deep center field. Moving back is Watanabe. He's underneath it, and he makes the catch. And Ogo is going to be retired for the second out of the inning. So that is a second out here. Our friend Manny Mike asked the question. He says, do you think that the Fighters can come back tonight? It's early on over there, Manny. It's 2-0 for the Hawks in that one. Haven't really checked in on that one there tonight. It is a ball game that, really doesn't have a whole lot of meaning at this point. Fastball misses outside, and the count is 1-0 to Kobakata. And I say that because, let's face it, both of those teams are in the 1-2 spot. They aren't really going anywhere other than a collision course to face each other potentially in the Climax League of the Pacific League. As that fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count's 1-1 to Kobakata. I would think a game like that, where it doesn't have any meaning. We're talking earlier about the gamblers who come in. As a breaking ball misses down, it's now 2-1. And how do you gamble on something like that, where both of those teams are just in getting their reps between now and the end of the year? Both teams have locked up playoff spots. And what's there to play for other than just getting your reps done? There's a fastball swung on, it's chopped down the first base line, foul, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Kobakata. And then the other thing, too, is you got to keep an eye on at this time of the year is just these substitutions. So, like, for example, are they going to use it almost as exhibition games? They start their lineup, maybe they get a couple of at-bats in, and then you start taking guys out halfway through the game, and you start trying to get everybody a little bit of game action, use it like a spring training game building up into the regular season. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count goes full to Kobakata. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to the Eagles' second baseman. Batting here with 2 gone in the fifth. Our friend Albert says, do you think the Lions have a chance to come back? As the pitch is a fastball. Yeah, I think their best chance to come back, Albert, is in 2027. I think it's that fastball swung on and fouled away. The Lions putting in the time here to finish out the string. Obviously, the Marines have everything to play for. The Lions have nothing to play for in that game other than jobs for the 2025 season. Here's the 3-2. Fastball swung on, grounded to the right side. And it is booted by the second baseman, Oda, as it gets through his legs into right field. It may not be they may give him a hit. We'll have to wait and see, but I think that ball should have been fielded by Oda. It may not have been ordinary effort, but as far as I'm concerned, that's got to be an automatic play. We'll look at the replay again. Yeah, it's going to be definitely an error. So E4 here as Kobakata is aboard, and that's going to bring Ryosuke Tatsumi to the plate. And Tatsumi tonight is a 1 for 2 in this one. He's got a double. He's scored the only run for the Eagles, and he's flown to center. So right there, if people are betting in this one here, and as they probably just saw that error with 2 outs, you always see what happens. The next thing you know, he probably puts a 2-run shot on the board, and people will be just losing their minds. Fastball misses up and away to Tatsumi. Count is 1-0. Yukio Shudo leads the Pacific League in stolen bases with 41, and then it is Ogo with 30 and Kobakata with 28. So this is a spot maybe they will choose to run. There's a fastball that misses outside. Count now goes to 2-0, and I would certainly consider it in this situation, even though they're down by 3. Get them over into scoring position, then a single would bring home Kobakata to cut the lead in half potentially, but use your wheels to move them along. Here comes the offering now to Tatsumi as the right-hander works himself to the set position. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, chop foul behind home plate, and the count now is 2-1. Albert says, any predictions on the rest of tonight's games? Yeah, we'll give you some of that after this half inning is done. And as we said, it's the Japanese halftime here in a couple minutes. So this inning ends here in a minute. We'll lead that off in the top of the 6th for you and give you our thoughts. So here comes the 2-1 pitch to Tatsumi. Fastball misses outside. Count is 3-1. Hate to start it and then have to break it off in the middle of the inning. So 3 balls and 1 strike to the center fielder of the Golden Eagles. And the right-hander leaning in and nodding in agreement with his catcher here as the 3-1 is on the way. Fastball taken for a called strike. Oh, Tatsumi started to turn and go to first base. The right hand of the home plate umpire brought him back, and that's going to run the count full. Well, Kobakata is going to be on the move here, as it is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Tatsumi with 2 gone in the 5th. As the right-hander holds to the set, here comes the 3-2 offering. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 3-2. A double here would surely be able to get the runner home all the way from first. A single here possibly could as well. He's definitely going to go first to third, depending upon where that single would go. You'd have to think that Kobakata on the move here may be able to get all the way around the bases. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. And that is going to do it as Tatsumi is down on strikes. He's in the books for out number 3, and that is going to do it here for the Eagles in their half of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left aboard. We're through 5 complete innings. It is the Buffaloes 4 and the Eagles 1. We'll take our little halftime break here. We'll come back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for jumping in tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll put the music on loop, and we'll come back after this. Well, we got ourselves a 4-1 scoreline as we're moving to the top of the 6th inning. Buffaloes are enjoying the lead over the Golden Eagles. 2-0. The Hawks are leading the Fighters. That's in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Marines are enjoying a 3-0 lead over the Lions. That game is at the Balluna Dome in Torkazawa, or at least where the Saitama Cebu Lions call their home. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for checking in. It is a 4-1 lead. This game will be resuming in just a few, and we'll be back to give you all the action in the back half in just a couple moments. Welcome back, everybody. The night for Masahiro Tanaka is over as the Eagles are going to be going to the bullpen. They'll be calling on the right-hander Shota Watanabe, who will come on in to take over for Tanaka in this one here tonight. As we'll get you the updated information on the right-hander Watanabe. The second-year player is making his 47th appearance of the year. He's got a record of 7-2. He's worked 44 1/3 innings out of the bullpen. He's allowed 40 hits, 21 walks. He has struck out 41, and he's pitched to an ERA of 3.05. So that is where we stand here as the Golden Eagles going to their bullpen here. He's just completing his warm-up tosses, and we'll be resuming the action in just a couple moments. Golden Eagles find themselves in the deficit here after jumping out to a 1-0 lead. It was that 3-run uprising in the 4th inning after back-to-back singles by the Buffaloes to load the bases. Leandro Cedeno brought home the first one with a sacrifice fly RBI. Rudo Watanabe then had a sacrifice bunt on a safety squeeze to bring home the second run. And Kenya Wakatsuki brought home the third with an RBI single, and then they added to their lead in the 5th on a Ryo Oda solo shot. And that is where we stand. So Nishikawa standing in to face the first offering from Watanabe as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball ticket for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Nishikawa 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. He scored a run and stolen a base. As the right-hander works himself to the set position and ready to go here. As the pitch on the way is a breaking ball swung on. It is bounced on 2 hops over to the second baseman, Kombakata. He throws to first. Nishikawa in the books on a ground out 4-3. So 1 up and 1 away. I'll bring up the first baseman, Leandro Cedeno. So our friend Albert asked the question. He says, any predictions on the rest of tonight's games? I told you I would talk about that when we returned from our break. So if he's still in here, you can listen in as it's Leandro Cedeno strides to the dish. Officially 0 for 0 tonight. He has a walk and a sac fly. He has driven in a run as he bats from the right side here against the right-hander Watanabe. As he kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. The game between the Tigers and the Swallows, I'm pointing my finger right at the Tigers. That's at the Jingu tonight. Jeremy Beasley, 8-2 with a 2.05 ERA, taking to the hill against Taichi Yamano, who is 2-4 with a 6.80 ERA. I think the Tigers have still something to play for. They're not mathematically going to finish in second quite yet. They're still chasing the Giants. There's a breaking ball missing up and away, and the count is 1-1. And then you look at the Giants and the Carp. It is a good pitching matchup as it'll be Tomoyuki Sagano going head-to-head against Masato Morishita. Sagano 14-3 on the year with a 1.7 ERA against Morishita, who's 10-9 and a 2.46 ERA. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field, camping out underneath it as the right fielder Ogo, and he's there to make the catch. He's going to retire Cedeno for the second out of the inning, and it'll leave up to the center fielder Haruto Watanabe. So then the question comes in, who do we have in that particular game? Would we consider the Giants? As poorly as the Carp have been playing, they really need to get this win here tonight because the Bay Stars are getting the night off. And they did win last night, so they're going to try to make it 2 in a row. I just don't know if Morishita is going to be able to do it. I think it'll come down to the bullpens. But I think I'd be still leaning Giants in that one on the road tonight. So both of the road teams, in my thoughts, will be picking up victories in the Central League in that one. There's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and the count is 0-1 to Watanabe. Watanabe officially 0 for 1 tonight. He bounced out a fielder's choice his first time up, had the sacrifice safety squeeze to drive in a run his last time. He's also stolen a base. So the speedy center fielder has been busy tonight. As the 0-1 is on the way, it is a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Our friend Gracie Lynn says it's been a while. She's back in the house. It has been, Gracie Lynn. Nice to see you back in here. I got a chance to see your Lions play a couple of times at the end of last month at the Balluna Dome. They took on the Fighters. They won 1 and lost 1. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is fouled over on the third base side. The count remains at 0-2. Also got a chance to see the Lions beat the snot out of the Chibalote Marines in Chiba. Played the last 2 innings in a tsunami, or maybe a typhoon, which was the remnants of the one that was absolutely crazy. Our Filipino friend says, I hope the streak of the Carp would end. Well, it did end yesterday, as there's a fastball swung on. It is chopped foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 0-2 to Watanabe. So no balls and 2 strikes. But the Carp were in first place on August 31st when I left the country, and it has been all downhill since then, as the pitcher Watanabe has stepped off the mound to swat a bug away. No balls and 2 strikes, as it is a Watanabe matchup here. And the 0-2 on the way. Kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down. A nice stop there by the catcher Yasuda, running the count to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. I don't know if our friend Gracie Lynn is back in the US of A or if she is down in Latin America. As the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down and in, and the count now goes to 2-2. Gracie Lynn says, congrats on our Tigers. Last time we talked in July or August, we're pessimistic. Yeah, definitely pessimistic, especially when they were sellers at the deadline. You moved Mark Canha out. You moved Jack Flaherty out. Cleaned house, and next thing you know, they got themselves on a roll and were pretty much the best team in baseball in the month of August and September. Breaking ball misses up and away, and the count now goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Watanabe. Yeah, the Detroit Tigers were on quite the roll. I was in Detroit in August, saw them win an extra inning game against the Royals. Pretty impressive. They got themselves on quite the run there between now and the end of the year. A little surprising. Here's the 3-2. There's a fastball swung on it. His line foul into the netting down the right field line. Count remains at 3-2. Breaking news from about 20 minutes ago. It was Skip Schumacher, the manager of the Marlins, has told the team he won't be back as the manager of the club in 2025. There is early speculation he could be on his way to the White Sox if Grady Sizemore doesn't do it. Tyler says, if I lose this money, I'll end my life. That's not worth it, Tyler. You can always get more money. You can't always get another life. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. It is a fastball that just misses outside. Watanabe earns himself a walk. That was a 9-pitch at bat, and he is going to be able to draw himself a 2-out walk, and that'll bring up the catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. Gracie Lynn says she's been in the U.S. for couple of months, but heads back to Latin America in November. That's a good time to go. It's especially in the United States, where depending upon where you're at, I know you're in the South, but certainly in the North, you get into that November, mid-November, that's where the cold starts to kick in. So Kenya Wakatsuki striding to the plate. He's 1 for 2 in this one. He's got a single and an RBI. You got to keep your eye here on Watanabe, the runner at first. Already has a stolen base here tonight, and he can run. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung through and missed, and the count is 0-1 to Wakatsuki. Our Filipino friend says he's got $50 worth of money on the Buffaloes. On the 1.5. Well, that's probably not necessarily a bad thing at this point. But I have to say, I would be concerned when you get into the Buffalo bullpen. It hasn't been what we've seen in recent years. There was a fastball that misses down. A nice stop there by the catcher, Yasuda. He's able to keep that one in front, and it's going to run the count now to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. My friend Gracie Lynn says that if you knew I was streaming, you should have been here earlier. Watched the last 2.5 hours watching the Tigers of Chinandega against Tornados as they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Watanabe. Chinandega, there's some good baseball in that area in Nicaragua. That is for certain. Pitch on the way, breaking ball misses up and in, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Kenya Wakatsuki. I don't know if I know there's at least 4 teams in the Nicaraguan League. I think there might have been 5. Nicaraguan baseball has always been pretty good. I'm just surprised that they haven't produced more. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now at 2-2 to Wakatsuki. Eduardo Rivera says, what's happened to the Eagles? Well, the Eagles are finding themselves in a 4-1 deficit here in the 6th inning. It was the return of Masahiro Tanaka tonight, but it didn't go so well for the right-hander. Mike asks a question that we could probably go on for a whole pile. He says, what's the biggest cultural differences between Japanese baseball and American baseball? As they throw over to first base, and again diving back in time. Gracie Lynn says the Nicaraguan Winter League has only 6 teams, but the summer season is 140 games long, has about 12 to 14. Oh, that's interesting. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Instead, they throw to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Watanabe. Well, the first thing between Japanese baseball and American baseball, or North American baseball, or for that matter, Latin baseball, is just the discipline in which the game is played, the fundamental skills. And what I mean by that is the fundamental skills of the players. They don't have the overall athletes. I mean, that takes away Shohei Ohtani and some of the elite players in Japan. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded through the 6-hole into left field. Oh, that was a good piece of hitting there by Wakatsuki. Wakatsuki hits the ball past the shortstop, Murray Biashi. Murray Biashi was heading over to second to cover the base as the runner Watanabe was on the move, and he's going to go all the way to third. And now it's going to put runners on the corners. It'll bring up the top of the order channel here with 2 gone. The Buffaloes threatening to add some more runs here. So runners at the corners, 2 out, and up steps Chano to the plate, who's 0 for 3 tonight. He has flown out to each of the outfielders. We've got a little stoppage here as the pitching coach has come to the mound to talk to his right-hander Watanabe. I was talking about our friend Manny Mike had asked the question what we thought the biggest difference is. So the overall fundamental skills of the Japanese players are just so much better than what you have in Latin America or in North America. What you don't have is the physical size and the overall tools that the players in North America and South America possess. So, there's nobody that's throwing 97 miles an hour from the shortstop position to first base in Japan. The physical size of the athletes, the strength and power just doesn't exist there. As there's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0 to Chano. I say doesn't exist. I mean, you get your exceptions like your Okamoto for the Murray Giants and, your Murakami there for the Swallows. But in a 12-team league, those are far and few between. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball that just misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Chano. So runner at third, Watanabe. Runner at first, Wakatsuki. 2 gone here in the 6th inning, and the Buffaloes are threatening again to put some more runs on the board. And all of this is started with 2 out. And really, when you look at it tonight, it's the middle part of the order has been able to get on, but the bottom part of the order has really picked up the slack for the Buffaloes. Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now is 2-1 to Chano. Bottom part of the order is actually 2 for 5 and a couple of walks tonight for the Buffaloes in this one here, and they have driven in 3 of the 4 runs so far. Gracie Lynn says the Summer League has a whole pyramid. There's a breaking ball swung on, his tap softly over to second. It's taken a weird hop, and it is going to reach first base. I don't know if it got off the glove of the pitcher, but it ended up taking a weird turn, and it is going to be Chano safe at first. He's going to get an RBI single here. Oh, high fives all around as the Buffaloes have punched another run across the plate. We're going to have to get a look at that on the replay. The ball was headed into the 4-hole. We'll see this again here. So Watanabe delivered the pitch. It was chopped over to the right side. It did go off the glove of the pitcher, changed direction, and then Kobakata had no play at first base. So Chano's going to get an infield single and an RBI. Watanabe is going to score the 5th run of the game for the Buffaloes. Stopping at second is Wakatsuki, and the Buffaloes have added to their lead. It's now 5-1. And now that's going to bring up Masahiro Nishino to the plate, who was 1 for 3 in this one here tonight. And the first pitch delivered is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Our friend Brendan said he just found this channel. It's great. We've been here for a couple of years doing this stuff, so we're grateful for more people to be here. Don't forget to bookmark the channels so that you guys can come back. We'll be back on tomorrow night, same 2 teams, as there's a fastball ticket for a called strike. Count is 1-1 to Nishino. Nishino 1 for 3 in this one, as we said. He's singled, he's grounded to the first and grounded to short. And his 3 trips to the plate. Watanabe checks the runner over at second, and he works to the set. 1-1 on the way. It's a breaking ball swung on. It has popped up. And the shallow center field coming in over underneath it is the center fielder Tatsumi. He makes the catch. And that is going to do it as Nishino has gone for the 3rd out of the inning. Let us know in the chat if you put a B if you think the Buffaloes are going to hold on and win. Put an E if you think the Eagles are going to win. But in this half inning here, there was 1 run on the benefit of 2 hits. No errors and 2 runners left the board. We are now moving to the last half of the 6th inning. Your score is the Eagles trailing the Buffaloes 5-1. We'll be back in just a few. We appreciate you guys for bouncing in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. We got to score ourselves a 5-1 scoreline here as we are moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. We appreciate you guys for jumping in here with us tonight. We'll be right back after this. The Buffaloes are going to their bullpen, and we'll have that for you when we return. Hang tight, everybody. We'll see you in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Hiroshi Suzuki taking over on the hill here for the Buffaloes. The right-hander has just completed his warm-up tosses. And as I mentioned earlier, this is where the game could potentially get exciting because the Buffalo bullpen that we're witnessing in 2024 is not what we've seen over the last couple of years. So we'll see. We'll roll the dice here and see if the 4-run cushion will allow them to be able to keep it going here. Looks like there is a defensive change as well for the Buffaloes. It looks like Koji Oshiro is in the ball game, as he's going to move into second base, and it'll be Oda moving to first. That means that probably Leandro Cedeno's night is done. First pitch fastball swung on, lifted into deep right field, moving back onto the warning track and making the catch as he slams into the wall is the right fielder Chano, and that is going to retire Asamura on the first pitch that he sees. So Asamura gone for the first out of the inning. And that is going to bring up the catcher Yuma Yasuda. Well, for Yasuda, he is 1 for 2 in this one. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's also grounded out to second. Batting from the left side against the right-handed throwing Suzuki, there's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. Gracie Lynn says, what are your thoughts on the Monday doubleheader? As there's a fastball that misses down and in. And the count goes to 1-1 on Yasuda. Smarter scheduling could have avoided this. Yeah, absolutely. But I have to say, it's the only games in town, so the Mets and the Braves, all eyes on them, could be must-view TV for a lot of people. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to first, fielded by Oda. He flips it to the pitcher covering, and that is going to retire Yasuda on a ground out. It's going to go 3-1 for the second out of the inning. Our friend Brandon says, any chance you could add current outs to the scrolling text? Usually what we do is we update the text at the end of the half inning. And so when it is a production of 1, meaning me doing all that other stuff, it just kind of adds into some of the other pieces. So the chances of that, probably Brandon at this point, probably no, until we can maybe figure out another way to be able to update some of that stuff for you. But I hear you. There's a fastball that misses up and away to Daichi Suzuki. Count is quickly 1-0. Suzuki 0 for 2 tonight. He has flown to right and flown to center in his 2 trips to the plate. Hence why we don't always update these score lines unless there's a pitching change or a stoppage in the play. Fastball misses upstairs. It's now 2-0. And it's not because that we don't want to. It's just, I'd say it's when you're a production of 1, it's the bit of a challenge to try to get some things done and keep your concentration on the game. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. And engage with the chat as much as we can, because we do enjoy everybody coming in and sharing their love for Japanese baseball, whether it's that you're gambling or whether it's just you just love the game. I like the fact that people come in and listen. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is now 2-2 to Suzuki. Should Suzuki get on, it'll be Ito to follow here. So the right-hander Suzuki pitching to the left-handed batting Suzuki, and there's a split finger pitch swung out in the dirt. Nice block there by Wakatsuki, but he's going to have to get up and throw to first. Strikeout 2-3 for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Eagles in their half of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We're through 2/3 of the ball game. Your score is the Buffaloes 5, Eagles 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call in just a few. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Here is our friend Matt. We haven't heard from him in a while. We'll be right back after this.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
That's right, everybody. We'll be back in just a few, as it is a 5-1 scoreline for the Buffaloes. Hang tight. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We do have a pitching change, as it is going to be Cody Ponce who is taking over on the mound, as we haven't seen him in relief before. He's got his purple glove with him here tonight. But I got to tell you, when I look at Ponce here, I'm going to give you guys a visual. He looks like he's a high school kid who went off to college for, a few months or 8 months after his first year of college, came back and went on to put on his high school uniform from the year before. And it is a couple of sizes too small. They often talk about the freshman 15, or in this case, maybe the freshman 40, as Ponce may be indulging himself in some pretty good Japanese food. It looks like he has added a few pounds here. Well, it's going to bring the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to the plate, as the first pitch delivered to Ryo Oda is a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-1. Oda 1 for 3 tonight. He had a homer and drove in a run in the 5th inning. So he is in the little bit of offense at the top of the order for the Buffaloes tonight. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and now he's in the hole at 0-2. Our friend Gracie Lynn says whoever wins that Braves-Mets series is going to be in for some tough luck, as they've got to fly to San Diego after a doubleheader to open up the playoffs on a Tuesday. There's a fastball that misses down. And you definitely know this. There's not going to be any rain in San Diego because I think, in the last 25 years, there's only been a couple of rainouts. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on and it's grounded foul over on the third base side. The count now is going to remain at 1-2 to Oda. Our friend Gracie says she just likes listening and having interesting and unrelated conversations. I appreciate that too. And everybody gets to listen in on myself and Gracie talk. There's a split figure pitch that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Oda. It's like a date night with Gracie and everybody else involved, but that's okay. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Ryo Oda batting here with Mori and Kirby-Ashi to follow. As the right-hander delivers, it's a fastball swung on and line foul down the right field line. That last pitch was at 98 miles an hour from Ponce. He can really bring it up. Our friend Brendan asked the question, what's your pick in the KBB or the KBO, the Landers and Hanwha Eagles game? Well, to be honest with you, Brandon, I don't really do a whole lot. Don't really pay much attention to the KBO. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count remains at 3-2. It's although I have to say, next year we were already talking and planning a trip next year. I'd like to do about 10 days in Korea. So we're going to try to get to see some games in the KBO, and then if everything aligns, and I'll know probably by about January, February when the NPB announces its schedule, if I'll be able to get over to Fukuoka, maybe catch a game, maybe even get to Nagoya. Try to get in to see the Hanshin Tigers. I can knock off 3 more stadiums if everything aligns right. Fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. Count remains at 3-2 to Oda. Brendan says all good. So yeah, I don't really follow it that tightly. I kind of know a little bit what goes on, but I have to say I don't enjoy watching it. Our friend Gene Ju, who was in here earlier, who's a Korean down in Oregon, he says he doesn't really pay a whole lot of attention to the NPB or the KBO as well. The league is not the standard of the NPB. There's a fastball taken for a called third strike at the knees. Oda sure didn't like the call, as he is rung up for the first out of the inning. And he has gone for out number 1, and that'll bring up the DH Tomoya Mori. Gracie Lynch says, I really don't know much about Japanese baseball, so I talk about it and other things that cover up that fact. It's all good, though, Gracie Lynch. I'm working on my Hall of Fame series. I am going to be putting out a video probably each week on everybody who's in the Hall of Fame. 214 members of the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame. I've just got to do my homework and get everything prepared. I was doing some work on that today, and I'd like to get one video per week to be put up. And once we can get that going, each one will probably be in the neighborhood of about 4 to 8 minutes. There's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. I was able to get a lot of footage, spent a lot of time in the Hall of Fame this year, probably a good solid 4 hours, making a lot of notes. And their Hall of Fame, their exhibition or their exhibits, they changed around a little bit. It was a little bit on the thin side this year. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. But when you pay 600 yen, which is like about $4 US or a little less than $4 US to get in, I mean, what does it matter? Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded over to third. Oh, a nice play by the third baseman, Suzuki, as he drops to his knees, picks it up and fires to first, and Mori's in the books on a ground out, 5-3. He's gone for the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it up to the shortstop, Kotaro Kobayashi. And for Kobayashi, he is 1 for 3 tonight in this one. He's got a single and 3 trips. He's also scored a run. Nice play there by Suzuki. He's really having a good back half of the season. He's getting a chance to play every day. First pitch fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. Drinking from the fountain of youth is Daichi Suzuki, approaching his mid-30s. Still getting some pretty good production here for the Golden Eagles. 1-0 on the way. It's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hander Ponce holds at the belt and now delivers a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Friend Gracie Lynn also pumps a fist on the Vancouver Whitecaps. I haven't really paid attention to those guys at all. It's 3 for sure, possibly 4. There's a fastball swung on and tap foul over on the first base side. I mentioned before, probably in the last couple of years, used to be a season ticket holder, but just my own work commitments and everything that we're doing, it just precludes me from going over to watch. Try to go as much as I possibly can, but there's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul behind home plate, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kotaro Kobayashi. Oda and Mori were the first 2 retired here. Kobayashi looking to try to extend the 7th inning here as there's nobody on and 2 gone. Ponce holds to the set. And now he's ready to deliver. There's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul into the seats over on the first base side, and the battle's going to continue. For those of you who may or may not know, there was a heck of an at-bat earlier in the week as Masaya Yano of the Hiroshima Carp battled Wakui, the former Eagle who pitches for the Dragons. It was a 22-pitch at-bat that he ended up earning a walk. Absolutely incredible. There's a breaking ball swung on it. Is chopped foul over on the third base side. The count remains at 1-2. They had started the count 0-2 to Masaya Yano, and then he ended up fouling off, I think it was 17 pitches before he was able to wiggle his way to get a base on balls and win that at bat. On the other side of the ledger, I had to do some homework, and the longest at bat in Major League Baseball was a 21-pitch at bat by Brandon Belt a few years ago, and there was a fastball swung on and missed. I'll come back and talk about that as Kobayashi goes down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. So Ponce comes in and does his job. as the Buffaloes go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. Bottom of the 7th, just around the corner. Eagles trailing 5-1. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this from our friend Steve Rademacher.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game. Really exciting. Lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, I got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the last half of the 7th inning, and we're getting into the deep water here as the Eagles are going to be sending the 7, 8, and 9 hitters to come to bat. Brennan says he's still around, hasn't called it quits yet. Well, I would say the next couple innings, the Eagles better find a way to chip away with a run or two here to close the gap, or it is going to be a lights out, one would think, as they get into the deeper water. Ito, Watanabe, and Muribayashi trying to get things going here in the last half of the 7th. As the right-hander Hiroshi Suzuki on for his second inning of work out of the bullpen. As he'll be facing the bottom third here. Our friend Gracie Lynn said the Whitecaps have a Japanese goalie, which is true. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. When I used to go, they used to have I believe it was a Danish keeper. David Ostad was pretty big. And Brandon Belt is the other one. Yeah, Brandon Belt, he's still around, hasn't called it quits yet. There's a breaking ball down. I know Belt was with the Blue Jays last year, and I don't know where he's at right now this year. I haven't really paid much attention. I have to say, Belt, in a lot of ways, in some ways, I thought he was finished last year, but he, could be a serviceable designated hitter. Breaking ball misses upstairs. Count is now 2-1. Yeah, the ball game here, we stick it right to the end. It can be difficult sometimes. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-2, especially if the game got to be a bit of a spread. Then you're sitting here almost talking to yourself some nights, and you're doing the best you can to hang in. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander Suzuki kicks and fires. It is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lined into right field. It's going to be down for a base hit. Oh, and it gets away from Chano. It took a weird hop, and digging for 2 is Ito, and he's going to cruise in. That'll be a double. A leadoff double here for the Eagles to get things going in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's exactly what they needed. Yeah, it's hard to blame Chano on that one. The ball had been hit into right field. He was racing hard to the right field line. It had hit the ground and it had so much spin on it. It ended up kicking away from him or behind him as he overran it. But it really wasn't an overrun for much as the ball just had that crazy hop, and then he was able to run it down. But it did allow Ito to be able to get an extra base there. So he is aboard at second, and it brings Shiaki Watanabe to the plate. And Watanabe is 0 for 2 in this one. He has grounded twice to second base. And this would probably be an opportunity if he was going to ground one to second base to do it. He'd be able to advance the runner Ito along. And here comes the pitch from Suzuki. It's a fastball swung on and grounded foul just past the third base coach's box. You're going the wrong way there, Watanabe. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, according to Google, he's a free agent. And she says she remembers him in his days in San Fran. I don't remember him in Colorado. I just remember him coming to the Blue Jays. Here comes the 0-1 pitch as the right-hander delivers. Fastball swung on, his loop softly into left field. This ball is going to get down for a base hit. Oh, and here we go. The Eagles have got something going as they got runners on the corners with nobody out. So everybody, welcome everybody back into the chat here once the people start storming in. But the Eagles got runners on the corners, nobody out, and it's going to bring Itsuki Moribayashi to the plate. And so Moribayashi 0 for 2 tonight as he has lined to the shortstop and grounded to short. And now we got some interesting action on our plate here as the Eagles with runners on the corners, and the pitching coach had come out to the mound to talk to his starters or his reliever Suzuki here. The other part here is Suzuki really hasn't pitched all that bad. Both of those hits, a bleeder to left and then a ball that got away from the right fielder. And here he is at a bit of a jackpot, and he's been pretty good. Gracie says she remembers a ton of random MLB players from 17 to 20, but draws a blank on some of the big names. Well, you won't have to draw any more blanks on Oakland as they are on their way out of the Coliseum. It's too bad. A great run in Oakland has come to an end. First pitch fastball swung on and lifted foul. That's going to reach the seats down the right field line. And the who I feel bad for is the fans. I really do feel bad for the fans in Oakland. I also saw that one of the mandates, Rob Manfred would like to expand Major League Baseball to 32 teams. That is on the docket. And I saw recently, or not so much recently, a few years ago, and then reiterated again, the expansion fee is going to be $2.2 billion. As that breaking ball is swung on and lifted foul into the seats, and the count is now 0-2 to Moribayashi. So I can't fathom $2.2 billion. But yet, if you own a franchise like in Oakland, you can pick them up and move them. I don't understand that. So yeah, you got the franchise, but yet you can move them. They should have to have a fee to the rest of the league. If you're going to pick up and be able to move, it should almost be a moderate type franchise moving fee that you're going to have to pay the rest of the owners. So here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on, his tap slowly just down the third base line. And the count remains at 2-2. The scores now around the NPB, 4-1 Marines have the lead over the Lions. That's in the bottom of the 8th inning. But the Fighters have come back to take a 3-2 lead on the Hawks. That's in the bottom of the 4th inning. So earlier the question came up is, can the Fighters come back? Well, there's your answer. They have. Have the Lions come back? Chances of that, not very good. Chance of the Lions coming back are like the Chicago White Sox winning the World Series this year, 0. Or pretty close to it. Here's the 0-2 pitch as Suzuki holds set, now delivers. Breaking ball misses down and away. Runs the count to 1-2 on Moribayashi. Really what the Eagles need here is a string of hits. And if they can do that, they might be able to get something more going here. But runners on the corners, nobody out, and they are threatening here. As the right-hander holds to the set, here comes the pitch. Breaking ball misses down, and the count now goes to 2-2. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, ironically, Jeff Pass and another ESPN reporters the past couple of days have been talking about how a shame it is, but if you go back, they never questioned it or offered any pushback. Yeah, certainly more recently as the era has come to an end, but they, over the course of the last year, or the last couple of years when this has been signaled, The journalists or the active journalists have been sitting with crickets. They haven't really been saying a whole lot, but now that it has come to fruition and come to reality, now they're taking their shots. Too little, too late. Probably could have used some media backing at one point in time. There's a fastball swung on it, is hammered up the middle, taken on a hop by the second baseman, who flips it to the shortstop covering. They go back to first. It's going to be a double play. They are going to cash a run in as Ito is going to come across. No RBI credited there to Murray Biashi, as it is a 4-6-3 double play. The Eagles are able to get a run back here to cut the lead to 5-2. It was Koji Oshiro who had come in at second. They had taken Cedeno out as the first baseman, and Oshiro started the double play. You got to say that ball was smoked hard by the shortstop Murray Biashi. And that's going to leave it all up to the top of the order in Yuya Ogo. So that's one way to get out of a jam. Roll a double play even though you give it up a run. Here comes the first pitch to Ogo. It's a breaking ball missing outside. The count is 1-0. So 5-2, the Buffaloes have the lead. And as I said in that last half inning, the Eagles have got to find a way to chip away with a run or two in the 7th and the 8th to at least keep it in striking distance. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-1. And as I also mentioned about the suspect bullpen, I say suspect bullpen of the Buffaloes. Let's face it, their bullpen has not been what it was the last 3 years. It is a roll of the dice a little bit more this year. And so that leads me to believe that this game here is still within reach of the Golden Eagles. There's a fastball swung or taken for a call and strike, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Ogo. So one would have to think, obviously, I don't believe there were any other changes, that Oshiro will go into the spot once occupied by Cedeno. Fastball misses outside. It's now 3-1 to Ogo. Well, maybe the Eagles will continue to try to add something here. If they could get Ogo aboard, then you got to think that he's going to be off to the races. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Yuya Ogo. Right-hander now kicks and fires. Fastball misses inside. It's going to be a base on balls. Ogo is going to be aboard with a 2-out walk. That's going to bring Hiroto Kobakata to the plate, and keep your eyes peeled here as the track meet may be ready to begin here for the Golden Eagles. Friend Gracie Lynn says, I wanted to watch the Rangers Athletics game on Thursday, but couldn't bring herself to do it. Gracie Lynn says, if you're 60, 75, and 3, there is quite apparent there's several things not great on your team. Just putting it bluntly, that would be facts. That's funny. Brennan says, everyone's leaving Oakland. Even an In-N-Out closed its location. I'm sure there's been a few others too. Fastball swung on, popped up down the left field line, but it's going to slice into the seats. Foul. Count is 0-1 to Kobakata. Kobakata today is officially 0 for 2. He's grounded to short. He had a sacrifice bunt, and he reached on an error by the second baseman, Oda, at that time. He has yet to get himself a base hit or a walk here tonight. But all eyes should be locked on Ogo. And even if Ogo got gunned down, at least you'd have Kobakata to lead off the next inning. Let's keep our eyes on the runner here. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, as I say, it's too bad about Oakland. And it's I say a storied franchise, but you'd think in the 80s, well, there was really 2 runs. In the 70s, that era with Vita Blue and Raleigh Fingers and the group that they had, and then again in the 80s and early 90s. Oakland was the place to be. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to second. Oh, another nice nifty play by Oshiro as he fields it and flips to second. Let's get a race Ogo on a fielder's choice. That goes into the books 4-6, and that is going to do it here for the Eagles in their half of the 7th inning. But they get a run back. There was 1 run in the inning on 2 hits. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the top of the 8th inning. Your score is the Buffaloes 5 and the Eagles 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call. The top of the 8th inning in just a few. This game here has got a little bit of life in it now with that run that has just been scored. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you there, Steve. We have another relief pitcher coming into the ball game here. As it's going to be number 72 for the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. This is Satoshi Miyamori. And we were on the stream last week when Miyamori came in, and oh boy, it was not a good deal for him. So let's see how this is going to work out here tonight for the right-hander who's just completed his warm-up tosses. So he is going to be trusted to face Nishikawa, Oshiro, and Watanabe to come to bat here for the Buffaloes. So as we are cruising now to the top of the 8th inning. So Miyamori on in relief, and the first pitch delivered is a fastball that misses way up and away. And the count is 1-0 to Nishikawa. Nishikawa is 1 for 3 tonight, a single in 3 trips. He's also grounded out twice. As the right-hander delivers another pitch that misses outside, it's now 2-0. Our friend Gracie Lynn says that she read that 13.2% of all businesses, including the A's baseball team and restaurants and everything in between, closed shop in Oakland in the last 10 years. As the pitch is a fastball that's caught the outside corner for a called strike. It's now 2-1. Well, I got to tell you, I remember when the Tiger Stadium closed and they moved over to Comerica Park, which was in a different neighborhood, different part of Detroit. And a lot of those businesses in and around where Tiger Stadium were, as that breaking ball is swung on and missed, it's now 2-2 to Nishikawa, had pretty much died on the vine. Unfortunately for the people that were running their businesses during the year there, had to close up, either move or not go back into business again. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses up and away. It's now 3-2 to Nishikawa. Brennan says he was there not so long ago. It was a scary place. Even San Fran's not that good. Yeah, the 49ers receiver was shot. Yeah, I actually was originally supposed to go to San Fran and Oakland in May. I had planned a jaunt down there. I was going to go down and see the Blue Jays and A's and the Astros and the Giants. And unfortunately, I didn't get down to see it as I had to go back with some family issues. My dad had some complications at the time, so I went back for a visit. As that ball was fouled away, it's 3-2 to Nishikawa. That was the unfortunate part. I had to go out, had to go pay him a visit, see how he was doing. But thankfully, he's been still with us. As the 3-2 is on the way, it's chopped softly over to short. Murray Bayashi fields it, and he bobbles it. going to see if they're going to give that an infield hit here to Nishikawa. We'll have to wait and see. Nope, they ruled it an error on Murray Biashi, so that's how this thing is going to start. An error on the shortstop. Our friend Demon Slayer says he's from the Bay Area and Oakland fans. He says Oakland fans are a disgrace. They tore the seats out of the stadium. The stadium was bought for other events. Now they got to replace the damage. Yeah, a bit interesting. I mean, they were ripping the place apart. I think they might want to tear the whole thing down. And I don't know what's going to go on there at the Coliseum. You think about it, your number one tenant is the Oakland A's. Your number two tenant was the Raiders, and both are long gone in Oakland. And now coming to bat here is Koji Oshiro. This is his first plate appearance tonight as he has replaced Leandro Cedeno in the lineup. The unfortunate part about Oakland and San Fran area, it is just the way that certainly San Francisco has been let to the inmates run the asylum, so to speak, as there's a bunt back to the pitcher, fielded neatly by the pitcher Miyamori, and he throws to first. It's going to be a sacrifice 1-4. It advances Nishikawa over to second. That is going to bring up the center fielder Haruto Watanabe. But again, going back to the Oakland and San Francisco area, like some of the shops in downtown San Fran closing up, just the amount of crime that is at least publicly been put forward. And I know some folks that have gone to San Fran and they really like the city. In fact, my dad lived in that area. He lived near where Menlo College was. There's a breaking ball that is taken for a call and strike, and that's going back into the 60s. He was there for a couple of years doing some work. I think that's in Atherton, California, if I'm not mistaken. As the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. Our friend Demon Slayer says the A's fans didn't show up until the last games of the season. Yeah, I think as a send-off, but I think they've been protesting. The fans have been for the last couple of years with regards to the owner. As the pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. Don't really know a whole lot about John Fisher. I understand he was in the real estate business, I do believe. As that had made him quite a bit of money, and unfortunately, some of these owners will look at teams as if they are real estate property rather than baseball. One of the other teams I follow is the Detroit Pistons, and their owner, Tom Gores, is rumored to be involved in the purchase of the San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded in the right field through the 4-hole. Stopping at third is going to be Nishikawa. Watanabe's got himself a base hit. That's going to put runners at the corners with one gone. It's going to bring Kenya Wakatsuki to the plate. So the Buffaloes here are picking up where we saw the pitcher for the Tohoku Rakuten Gold Eagles, Miyamori, leave off last week when he was having problems getting outs. It's not what you want late in the season. You got to be able to close the deal. So that brings Wakatsuki to the plate. He is 1 for 2 tonight, or check that, 2 for 2 tonight. 2 for 3 tonight. He has got 2 singles in 3 trips. He's also driven in a run. So he comes to bat here with runners at the corners and 1 gone. Outfield is not that deep. You're in a few steps here. They're probably playing a little bit more normal depth here off of Wakatsuki. Got to be able to throw a runner out at the plate. Infield is in here as Nishikawa is the runner at third. As the right-hander holds to the set. And now he steps off the backside of the round. It's good to see Demon Slayer back in the house here tonight. We haven't seen him in a while, and he's come in with some venom tonight. Venom with the Oakland A's on his mind. The other disappointing thing about the Oakland A's leaving the Bay Area there is you had 2 major league teams in that area, and I don't know if that's saying something more about what is happening in that area. Brennan said that Fisher's been trying to relocate the team for 2 decades. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, well, I guess what is it, Sacramento? I think they're moving to next year, and who knows how long that's going to be. And of course, they were talking about moving them to Vegas, and I saw the drawings of the stadium. Kind of a weird look. Demon Slayer also says, yeah, the city is a bit violent. That is for sure as well. Does not have a great reputation. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count is 1-1. Gracie Lynn says San Diego deserves the Chargers back. LA doesn't support them, and kind of strange on how all that went down as well. Brandon says Vegas makes sense if you want to make money. It also makes sense because I think it's still one of the fastest growing cities. Weather in Tohoku, overcast, but it is dry. You can see that the players they got sleeves on. Here's the pitch. Oh boy, they've picked the runner Nishikawa off at third base. Unbelievable. Now there's some boneheaded base running for you right there. It was a 1-1 strike. Yasuda came up firing, and they're able to gun the runner down at third. That is a big put out. That is going to be a pickoff, and it's going to go 2-5. And Nishikawa, it looked like he fell, and he was a good solid 5 feet away from the base. He came down the line. Yasuda came up gunning. He wasn't even close to getting back to the bag. That is going to be the second out of the inning here, and that is going to potentially get the Eagles out of some big-time trouble. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's a breaking ball missing down. It's now 3-1. So the runner at first is Watanabe. There's 2 gone here in the 8th inning. If that's going to be a turning point in the ball game, put an asterisk there. As the 3-1 pitch here ready to come from Watanabe. We appreciate our other fellas coming in here to listen tonight. As the 3-1 is on the way, there's a fastball swung on. It is popped up behind home plate, giving chases Yasuda. It looks like he's got room. He makes the catch, and that is going to do it. Wakatsuki's gone for the third out of the inning. And the Buffaloes squander an opportunity with runners at the corners and 1 gone. They can't cash anything in. There was no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 runner left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is a 5-2 lead for the Buffaloes. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back here in just a few. Our good friend Demon Slayer is sharpening the knives. He's coming out firing tonight. We'll be back after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Just got another angle of that pickoff at third base, and oh boy, as I said, if I said Nishikawa was out by 6 feet, he might have been out by 8 feet. He got too far down the line, and then when he had to get back to third, it was like he stumbled and face planted. He wasn't able to get back to the bag. Well, we've got the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to come to bat here in the 8th inning, and we do have a pitching change for the Buffaloes. This is going to be the 3rd pitcher used tonight. And it is going to be Kosei Yoshida who is coming in to take over. You guys know that I like to talk about Yoshida as he is on in relief. Yoshida is the former number 1 pick overall in the draft. He was taken by the Hokkaido Nippon Amp Fighters. I mentioned about his legendary performances at the Koshin Stadium. He threw like 700 pitches over a 10-day window to help his high school team to a championship. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses inside. The count is 1-0. You want to talk about mileage on an arm? There was a lot of mileage coming out of high school off of this fella's arm. And he's not a big guy. He's only like 5'8". As there's a fastball swung on it, is popped up into shallow center field. Moving over underneath it is Watanabe, and he's there to make the catch. And 1 up and 1 away here in the 8th inning, and that is going to bring up the designated hitter, Hideto Asamura. Our friend Demon Slayer says only worse fans than Raider fans are Dodger fans. That's kind of funny. Gracie says, isn't San Diego the biggest city in the country not to have an NFL team? That's a good question. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. But I also remember, too, San Diego had problems filling the seats with the local fans. Obviously, they were more Raider fans and Rams fans, and pretty much everybody else would invade that stadium. Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. Demon Slayer says if you search Dodger game fight, you'll get 1,000 videos. Well, prior to the internet and YouTube, I think Detroit would have been a pretty good center for that at the Pontiac Silverdome, as that breaking ball was missing down, and the count now goes to 2-1. I remember being at a football game at Monday night in Detroit and just watching the fights in the stands were unbelievable. Fastball misses inside. It's now 3-1 to Asamura. Brennan says San Diego is a spread across a large area. In Transplant City, there's a fastball that comes inside, and it is hit Asamura right in the forearm. Oh boy, he's going to get himself a base, but you can see he's in a lot of pain as the trainer has come out to look at him. He wears a elbow guard, but it caught him up a little further. Maybe not in the forearm. It actually may have caught him in the area between the elbow and the shoulder. Our friend Preston in here, he says he's going to win some money if Orix wins. Well, maybe it did catch him on that elbow guard, but the elbow guard doesn't do its job as it should have been. Asamura makes his way down to first base as he's been hit by the pitch. That's going to bring Yumi Yasuda to the plate. Well, that is what the Eagles need. They need some base runners. And is that going to be the it here? Is that going to be it for Yoshida? So he only faces 2 batters and he's out of the game. The trainer came out to see him as well. So back-to-back situations here. We may have ourselves a pitching change as the Buffaloes may be going to the bullpen. Manager Nakajima did not come out to make the change. The trainer's taking him down the tunnel, so we're just going to have to wait and see if Yoshida's night might be done. Preston says, what's the chances of an Eagles comeback? Well, if you ask my ticker here, I would say about 35% there, Preston. So it looks like we're going to have ourselves a pitching change here as the Buffaloes are going to have to go to the bullpen. As that is going to be the end of the night for Yoshida, it would appear. So we're going to take a little break here as we have to be able to get ourselves another drink of water so we can finish this one out with you here. So we're just going to put our music on loop here for just a moment, everybody. We appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight. Pitching change coming in here for the Buffaloes. Runner at first and 1 gone. Not official yet, as Yoshida looks like he was just going down the tunnel, but it looks like the calls are going in. We'll be back in just a few. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. it looks like we're going to have ourselves a pitching change. That is going to be confirmed, as that is going to be the end of the night for Kosei Yoshida. He's going to be leaving with an injury here after plugging Hideo Asamura. Asamura is the runner at first base with one gone here, as the pitching change is going to be happening here in a second. We haven't seen who the call to the bullpen is for. It'll be Yuma Yasuda who is coming in, or who is going to be batting here, or scheduled to come to bat. And for those of you who were on the call with us a couple of weeks ago, it's got a very eerie feeling of the same type of stuff. We had Yuki Utagawa had left the game as he was throwing muffins up to the plate. And there were a couple of other arms that went back to back that they were able to get to the bullpen, and they lost three batters in a row with injuries, or three pitchers in a row with injuries. But it is going to be number 19 coming into the ballgame. This is Taisuke Yamaoka, the diminutive right-hander, coming in to pitch here, as he will take over for the Buffaloes for Kosei Yoshida. So he's going to get a couple of extra warm-ups before we resume the action here. So hang tight, guys. We'll be right back in just a few. Appreciate all the people jumping in with us. We have a pitching change, and the Yamaoka is going to get his warm-up tosses. We'll be back in 60 right after this. Hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. Yamaoka is just completing his warm-up tosses as we're going to be ready to resume the action here in just a couple moments. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, it is 4-2 for the Fighters over the Hawks. That is in the top of the sixth inning. Top of the ninth inning, it is a 5-1 lead for the Marines over the Lions, and you guys have walked into a ball game where it's 5-2 for the Buffaloes, as the Eagles are batting in the bottom of the eighth with a runner on and one gone, as they have gone to the bullpen here. Is going to be the reliever Taisuke Yamaoka coming on in relief. Yamaoka, the former number one pick of the 2016 draft, is only making his sixth appearance of the year this year. He has given them some good numbers over the last few years, and not having him in the lineup or on the staff as prevalent this year has been a bit of a challenge for the Buffaloes. He has been a bit of a swingman in his career. He can start, can come out of the bullpen. He's worked 4 2/3 innings this year. He's allowed 5 hits. He has walked 1 and struck out 4, and he's got himself a ERA of 3.86. So Yamaoka completing his warm-up tosses. As we said, he's going to be facing Yuma Yasuda, who comes to the plate. Yasuda 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single in 3 trips. As he'll be facing Yamaoka, who just completed his tosses. Now we are ready to get back to the action. As we mentioned tonight, we appreciate everybody popping in. We will be back on the airwaves again tomorrow for these same two teams, as it is going to be the Eagles have everything to play for, and the Buffaloes have nothing to play for at this point, other than being a thorn in the side of the Tohoku Ball Club. So Yasuda, who's raised his average to 308, steps in here, waiting on the first offering from the right-hander. As he holds himself set at the belt, here comes the first pitch from Yamaoka. It is a split finger pitch, misses down. Nice block there by Wakatsuki, and the count is quickly 1-0. That's one of the best questions of the night. Ayad Mana says, how much time until the game's left? Well, we're in the bottom of the 8th inning. So we have another inning plus of this one here to get through. As there is one gone here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So probably at this pace, another half an hour or less. As there's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Yasuda. Well, if you are a Buffalo fan cheering the Buffaloes on, this is good news for you, but the game really doesn't mean anything as they are out of the playoffs for them. It is all on the Eagles. Eagles find themselves at a 5-2 deficit here in the last half of the 8th inning. Gracie Lynn asked the question, what's the playoff structure like in the NPB? And the pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. It is now 2-1 to Yumi Yasuda. The big thing is that in the NPB, the playoff structure is the first team in each league gets a bye, and 2 versus 3 have to play off against one another. And then the winner of that will play the team that gets the bye in the first round, and the winner of that plays for the Japan series. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Split finger pitch swung on and fouled away, and the count is 2-2 on Yasuda. The big thing with that is that when you're looking at the standings right now, it's really a race for 3rd and 4th spot. The Giants have all but locked up first place. Their magic number is 1 in the Central League. The Tigers are pretty much locked in at 2nd place. It's a battle between the Carp and the Bay Stars for the 3rd spot. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, and Yasuda's in the books. He's gone for the 2nd out of the inning, and it's going to leave it all up to the 3rd baseman, Daichi Suzuki. Brandon says means quite a bit for him and the Buffaloes. Well, maybe. Playing for jobs for the 2025 season are the Buffaloes. Well, that brings Suzuki to the plate. He's 0 for 3 tonight in this one. He has lined to right, flown to center, and struck out in his 3 trips to the plate. So then in the Pacific League, you've got the Hawks who've wrapped up first place. The Fighters are in 2nd, and the battle is in 3rd spot between the Eagles and the Chibalote Marines. And of course, with a loss tonight by the Eagles, they'll fall to 2 games behind Chiba. As that first pitch missed down to Suzuki, the count is 1-0. And here comes the pitch. It is a split finger pitch. Swung on and fouled away off the foot of the hitter Suzuki. The count is 1-1. My friend Ian says the 7.5, he fears a random home run. Yeah. I can see that happening tonight, just the way that this game is playing out. Eagles may not win the game, but they may score enough runs to stick it to a few people, that's for sure. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Yamaoka delivers. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-1. Our friend Demon Slayer says the max bet on bookmaker is less than 20 grand. Unless you're in Japanese yen or Korean won or something. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep center field, but there's going to be room here as camping out underneath it is Watanabe. He's there to put it away, and that is going to be the 3rd out of the inning. So Yamaoka comes in and does his job as he is able to retire the 2 Eagles that he faces, replacing Yoshida. There was no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, but there was a runner left aboard. We are now moving to the top of the 9th inning. Your score is the Buffaloes 5 and the Eagles 2. Stick around, everybody. The top of the 9th is just around the corner. Eagles are going to their bullpen again. We'll have that change for you when we come back right after this. We got ourselves a pitching change as the Eagles are going to the pen. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action right after this. Appreciate you guys for being with us.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Last Reps Baseball, where we're going to open some dancing heroine cards during this intermission. Japanese baseball has cheerleaders for their sport. So let's see what we get from the Japanese baseball cheerleaders. Got swallows, and I bet she does. We have the Lions. It's one of my favorite teams. Wow. Now that's all sorts of nice. Ramu. Very cool. We have Neon. And we have Angels. Of Hiroka. And the one Japanese card no one can read, we got from the Giants. So everybody, enjoy the game. Back to you, Freddie, and peace out.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the order to come to bat for the Buffaloes here, as they are going to be facing Tomohito Sakai, who is coming on in the ninth inning. As it is going to be Chano, Nishino, and Oda, the top of the order, to try to get things going here for the Buffaloes. Our friend Demon Slayer says that he couldn't care about Gavin Newsom's laws. Interesting that is the case, because that is what we hear from a lot of people in California. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0 to Chano. Chano is 1 for 4 tonight. He's got a single and 4 trips. He's also driven in a run. He's also lined to left, flown to center, and flown to right. As the pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Chano looking to get things started here, as Sakai is in the hole here at 2-0, whereas falling behind the hitter 2-0. As the right-hander works himself into the set position, nobody on, and he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 2-1 to Chano. So 2 balls and 1 strike. As we mentioned, we'll be back on the airwaves. Same 2 teams tomorrow night. We were debating whether to call this one or the Marines, as there was a fastball swung on it. It's going to be lifted foul down the left field line, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Chano. But I just can't bring myself to do the Lions, although I did see the Lions 3 times last month when I was in Japan, and they were starting to play some good ball. But I'm not so sure that what they're doing against the Marines tomorrow night will be as competitive as this. There's a fastball swung on, grounded to second, fielded by Kobakata. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Chano. It's a ground out 4-3 to get things going here in the ninth. So 1 up and 1 away. And I'll bring up the third baseman, Masahiro Nishino. I'm just looking at Demon Slayer. Yeah, the state's in shambles. Yeah, they've, you look at certain things and it makes you wonder, and I don't want to get into California politics. Obviously, we got our own issues where we're at here. As the first pitch is on the way, it's a fastball, misses down and in. Just some of the stuff that's going on in North America kind of really makes you raise your eyebrows a lot. I think I've been beamed in from another planet. And I think that this can't be normal. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and it's now 2-0 to Nishino. Friend Brennan says Pete Rose apparently is still a bad dude, although ESPN pushes the bet apps. And that's another thing that kind of bothers me a little bit with the gambling in the sports, is that now that it's opened up, there's a fastball swung on, grounded over to short, fielded by Murray Biashi, who throws to first. We got 2 quick outs here in the top of the ninth inning, despite the fact that Sakai has had trouble locating some of his pitches. Gone, and that's going to leave it up to the second baseman, Ryo Oda. Friend Ian says, is it more normal to see homers late inning or beginning in Japan? It's in America. It depends on the team. Well, the reality of it is, Ian, there's not a lot of homers in Japan to begin with. Just there's not the power and the players that you see like you get in North America, the Latin players, the American players, a lot more power in that game. As there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. Gracie Lynn says, how much am I into hockey? Not a whole lot. Don't just a little bit here and there. And to be honest, it's not been something that we follow tightly. There's a breaking ball ticket for a call and strike. I have a couple of Canuck players who have their kids in my programs, but I don't even talk hockey with them. I just carry right on and go from there. It's all about the ball. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats down the right field line, and the count remains 0-2 to Oda. Yeah, the gambling in North America on some of the games, I'm curious in a few years to see what ends up happening there. But DraftKings, everything's always all in our face right now, that's for sure. Here comes the 0-2 pitch as it's on its way. It is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-2. I remember when I was in England for the first time, I went to some soccer matches in 1998. I remember going to the games, and you could actually bet right on site. Go up and get yourself a hot dog, get yourself a drink, and place a bet right underneath the stands. It was crazy. And if you don't think it's coming in North America, it's going to be coming soon. You can go get your hot dog, your apple pie, your pizza, whatever it is, and place a bet. Breaking ball misses down, and the count is 2-2 to Ria Oda. Ian says, bring back the juice era. Well, not just the juice era. The other thing that was juiced in Japan a few years ago was the baseballs. They had a real stretch of home runs in the Japanese league, and then they realized that there was juiced baseballs. As the pitch is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The commissioner, one of the commissioners had to resign. You'd have to go look it up, and they admitted that they were juicing the baseballs in Japan. So 2-2 it remains here to Oda. My friend Ayad keeps asking a question about the Fighters and the Hawks. It's, to be honest with you, Ayad, it doesn't really matter. I tell you that because both of those teams have locked up a playoff spot. Fastball swung on, and this is lined foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2. So it's a game, whether I think the win or not is immaterial, because at the top of the stream, if you were here, I basically said when teams have locked up playoff spots, they're resting guys, they're not pitching some of their other arms, they're giving other guys work. So who wins that game tonight? I wouldn't touch it from a betting standpoint. There's a fastball swung on his grounder right back to the pitcher. It is fielded by Sakai, knocks it down, picks it up, throws to first. That is going to retire the batter Oda on a ground out 1-3. So they retire the Buffaloes in order here. And we're going to go to the bottom of the ninth inning. It is the Eagles, their last wraps coming up here. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. It is a 5-2 ball game. We're going to have a pitching change as the Buffaloes are going to the bullpen. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be here in just a few. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Wraps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after these. Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change. It is going to be Luis Perdomo coming into the ball game as he's going to replace Yamaoka. As Perdomo is looking to close this one out. He's going to be facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the order. We do have a couple defensive changes. So it looks like it is going to be Taisi Haruka going into the game in the outfield. I didn't see who he is going to replace. And it also looks like it is Kosei Osato who is going in to replace the third baseman of Masahiro Nishino tonight. So a couple defensive changes. It'll be Ito Watanabe and Murray Biashi. They need base runners, did the Eagles, as the first pitch is a fastball that misses down for ball. It's 1-0. Ito enjoying a nice ball game tonight. He's 2 for 3. He's got a single, a double, and he's grounded to short in his 3 trips to the plate. As Perdomo kicks and delivers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Our friend Sauce up in the house tonight on Twitch. Jumping in. Appreciate you for hanging in here with us. He says it was a miracle season for the Tigers, and that is true. Our friend Demon Slayer asked the question about when the last game of the NPB season is and when do the playoffs begin. We actually went through that a little bit earlier in the stream, and we'll catch you up on that here in just a moment. Last game of the regular season right now is on the 7th, as there's a fastball swung on, grounded into the 6th hole, fielded by Kirby-Ashi, throws to first, and Ito is in the books on a ground out, 6-3. So 1 up and 1 away. We'll bring up Yoshiaki Watanabe. And all eyes on the bench in case they decide to pinch hit here. Last game right now slated for Monday the 7th, and then the playoffs are slated to begin on Saturday, October 12th. As the Central League and the Pacific League, both leagues will be set to play that night. 12th and the 13th and the 14th, the first round. In the event of rain, the Tuesday is a backup day. Then the Climax Series gets going on Wednesday the 16th. As the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0 to Watanabe. So 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 1-1. And then the Japan series will actually begin on Saturday, October 26th. The first 2 games are on the weekend. The middle 3 games go Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. Count remains at 1-2. Then the Saturday the 2nd and Sunday the 3rd would be the last games if necessary, which would be games 6 and 7, and potentially there could be more if there were games that ended in a tie. So you're looking at November the 3rd would be the last game of the playoffs. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded to short, fielded by Kirby-Ashi. Oh, he's putting on a clinic over there. That's going to retire Watanabe on a ground out, 6-3, and now the Eagles are down to their final out. Our friend Ian says the Japanese league does look or sound more alive. Sounds like people are happy losing and winning games. Yeah, they cheer and they stay right to the end of the game. Gracie Lynn says, you got any MLB games scheduled for the weekend or for the playoffs? Probably not, just because my time is not going to be allowing me to be able to do many of the games. There's a fastball that misses inside. The count is 1-0. And actually, the Japanese league is probably easier for me to be able to do because I'm up in the wee hours of the night. Here's the pitch from Perdomo. It's a fastball swung on. It's lifted foul down the right field line, and the count goes even to 1-1. Would I like to? I'd love to. I was talking to a friend of mine tonight, and he's like, you should do some college baseball during the year. And I'd love to be able to do that too. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a problem. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count's 2-1. College baseball, and as I say, just my timing and when we're working and doing stuff just doesn't allow me to be able to be dedicated to that. Here's the 2-1. Fastball swung on. This is going to be lined into center field for a base hit, and the Eagles have life as Murray Biashi turns it over to the top of the order, and that's going to bring up Yuya Ogo to the plate. So don't go away yet. Eagles got a runner on here with 2 gone. The tying run is now on deck as Yuya Ogo comes to the plate. Ogo tonight is 1 for 3. He's also drawn a walk. He has grounded to first. He has flown to center, and he had that double in the third inning. And that was a point in the game where if they might have cashed in that run, as Ogo had gotten to third with one gone, that might have been a bit of a momentum swing for the Eagles. Gracie Lynn says, does the 12-inning tie rule apply in the playoffs? It does. There's a fastball, take it for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 until you get into the later games of the series, and then that starts to go away. And there's some complicated rules. When we get into the playoffs, we'll explain some of that. But yeah, they do play the 12-inning games, as there's a breaking ball, take it for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. So now the Eagles are down to their final strike. Question comes up, do you do the KBO league? Nope, we don't do anything at all with the KBO. Just the NPB. As we said, Major League Baseball will try to do a bigger slate next year, MLB games. The 0-2 is a split finger pitch and misses down. Nice block there by the catcher Wakatsuki. It holds the runner at first. Runs the count to 1-2 on Ogo. Demon Slayer says the 12-inning rule is better than the MLB Ghost Runner. Yeah, we had a conversation about that earlier in the night tonight. I'm not a big fan of the Ghost Runner. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. And that is going to do it as Perdomo strikes out Ogo. And that is going to do it here for the third out of the inning. No runs, one hit, no errors. One runner left aboard. Your final score is the Buffaloes 5 and the Eagles 2. Stick around, everybody. We're going to come back and wrap this up and give you the out-of-town scoreboard and all the rest of the stuff. We return in just a few. We appreciate you guys for listening into this tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We'll give you the roundup of this one. We'll look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and then we will get the stream set up for tomorrow. Appreciate everybody who did pop in tonight to listen to the ball game. We will be back in again tomorrow night, as it was fun hanging out with everybody here in this one here this evening. Same two teams tomorrow night, as the Buffaloes and the Eagles will go head-to-head. Just a quick look ahead as the starting pitching matchups have been named for tomorrow, as these two teams will face off again. Getting the ball tomorrow night for the Buffaloes will be Hiroya Miyagi, and taking to the hill will be Ryota Takanaka for the Golden Eagles. So it's not going to get easier for the Golden Eagles, as Miyagi is going to get the ball for them, although he's not had a great year. That is what the matchup will look like tomorrow. Well, just a quick look at the rundown here tonight. The Orix Buffaloes fell behind early to the Eagles. In the first inning with 2 out, the Eagles scored their first run of the game on a double by Tatsumi. He was singled home by Hideto Asamura. That gave the Eagles an early 1-0 lead. Buffaloes responded with 3 in the fourth inning. It was a back-to-back-to-back singles from Tomoya Mori, Kataro Kobayashi, and Ryoma Nishikawa to load the bases. Up stepped Leandro Cedeno, and he sacrificed home the first run of the inning to tie the ball game at 1. Then it was a Hirado Watanabe safety squeeze that brought home the second run of the inning. That gave the Buffaloes a 2-1 lead. And then Kenya Wakatsuki singled home the third run, bringing home Nishikawa. That gave the Buffaloes a 3-1 lead. Buffaloes added to that scoreline in the fifth inning with a 1-out solo shot by Ryo Oda. That was his 6th of the year, increasing the scoreline to 4-1. And they added another run in the 6th inning with 2 out, a walk to Watanabe, a single by Wakatsuki, and a single by Chano brought home Watanabe with the 5th run for the Buffaloes. Eagles were able to get one back in the last half of the 7th, a leadoff double by Ito, a single by Watanabe, and then Moribayashi grounded into a double play that brought home the second run of the game for the Eagles. And that was where it stood, and that's where it finished. The win goes to Takashima. He evens his record at 2-2 on the season. The starter tonight, Masahiro Tanaka, takes the loss in his first start of the year. He drops to 0-1. We have other scores from around the NPB tonight, just to wrap this up with you here before I come back to the chat. In the top of the seventh inning, the Fighters have extended their lead over the Hawks. It is now 4-2 for the Fighters. And a final score from the Balluna Dome, it was a 5-1 victory for the Marines. All right, everybody. Well, once again, our friend Brennan, who popped in here tonight, Gracie Lynn, it was great hanging out with you as well. Demon Slayer, all the other folks that came in, Gene Jew, our Bummy Skimmy Dummy who came in here as well, Ian, our friend Sauce Up, Ayad, not to mention some of the others that were with us, Josh Bowman. Thank you guys for listening in here tonight. And can't forget our other friend as well, Ramones, who was in here earlier, Ramones J. He had popped in and listening to the group. He was pulling for the Eagles to get a victory tonight, but that didn't happen for him. Gracie Lynn, once again, thanks again. Everybody else, we appreciate you guys for hanging with us tonight on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll see you guys again in 24 hours' time.